warm welcome to respected alumni, their family, friends, Dean Dr. Varun Nagraj, faculty, staff members, and the extended SPJMR family to the 13th edition of SPandan SPJMR reunion. I am Saloni Gadkari.
And I am Isha Singh, your host for today. We are so excited to have all of you here, a day filled with nostalgia, friendships, and celebration. Whether you graduated last year or decades ago, this is your day to reconnect with old friends, relive your SPJMI memories, and create new ones. Today, we have a wonderful lineup of events prepared just for you. So, without further ado, let's get this celebration started.
And what is a better way to kick off the day than with some sensational music performance? Please give it up for the old B major. They're here to set the mood and take us on a melodious journey. So get ready to tap your feet and sing along as they bring back the magic of timeless hits. Over to you, B major.
ऐसा देखा नहीं खूबसूरत कोई जिस्म जैसे अजंता की रत कोई जिस्म जैसे आँखों पे जादू कोई जिस्म नरमा कोई जिस्म खुशबू कोई जिस्म जैसे महकती हुई चांदनी जिस्म जैसे मचलती हुई रागनी जिस्म जैसे खिलता हुआ एक चमन जिस्म जैसे कि सूरज की पहली किरण जिस्म तरसा हुआ दिलकशो दिलकशी सल्लती सल्लती मरमरी मरमरी उसने जाना कि तारीफ मुमकिन है उसने जाना कि तारीफ मुमकिन है आफरी आफरी
Thank you for that amazing performance. Every year on popular demand, we bring to life one of the most cherished experiences of time here, a back to classroom session. It's a chance to relive the energy, curiosity, and the joy of being students again. This session is a heartfelt tribute to the legacy of learning and the spirit of curiosity that defines SPJIMR. And today, we have the privilege of experiencing it under the guidance of the legendary Dr. Seshayar. Dr. Iyer, with over five decades of unparalleled experience in academia and industry, is a pioneer in operations and supply chain management and an inspiration to countless students. Let's step back into the classroom, relive those cherished moments, and reignite the joy of learning. Welcome home.
So, dear friends, a hearty welcome to each and every one of you to this back to classroom session. It happened to be back to auditorium because the number of students increased. Otherwise, now we used to use the same dome one in order to have the same feeling. Only thing is, at that time AC was not there. Then AC sophistication came. So I joined SPJMR in 2006. And EMBA I was started, I had opportunity to teach from batch 1. And the 100 batch will be coming now. And they told me, you take the 100 batch also. So I had the unique privilege of taking all the 100 batches. When I take 100, so I will be a century in the EMBA. So I got given opportunity. So I was thinking, what is the topic which will be common? All people, because there are very senior people. One person told me I already retired. One person joined here. So, a group of people. So, earlier 2-3 occasions I got this opportunity of back to classroom. Once I took some supply chain management. Then I took a business ethics. Then I combined some spirituality with supply chain management to make a difference. So, today I have taken the topic which I have not taken to you. The science of spirituality. Because I thought in our life, facing any situation is more important. Problems will go on changing. Therefore, the solution we learn will not be applicable as such. So, our capacity to face any situation, that is what is required. So, I am going to talk about my spiritual journey. You can call sadhana. That is our experiment. And all of you know, I am not an enlightened person. I am not a Sadguru. But I have got a confidence of communicating to you what I have learned from my gurus. And by God's grace, I had great opportunity to learn from a good number of contemporary gurus of the current century. I will divide the gurus from whom I learned into 2 levels of teaching. Finally, learning is the truth. Who am I? Whether I am the body, the mind, the intellect, the Atma, what is life? Is there life after death? Finally, the thing is about jnana only. And Shankaracharya also tells jnana is the only way. To achieve jnana, there are various methods like karma yoga, dhyana yoga, we do various things. So one is I learned the Bhagavad Gita jnana part. Started learning from Chinmayananda. And all of you know, Chinmayananda is the Bhishma Pitamaha of the Bhagavad Gita Yajna in India and abroad. And all the people are there, are Shishya Parambara of our Chinmayananda. So I used to hear from him. And those few of you who have attended his classes know, with all the gurus may have beard, but his beard is little more. And he will have a chart. On the top, there will be Om, there will be Vasana, then there will be BMI, body, mind, intellect. And he will use a stick At the end of the stick, there will be a rose flower also. He does not want to touch the worm with the stick. So he sticks with the flower only. And he say, BMI, body, mind, intellect, how it is disconnected from the divinity. And he will bring how you connect it back. Then Chinmayananda Shishya is Dayananda Saraswati. And Dayananda Saraswati used to come here every year in the month of December he comes. Earlier he used to come in the Bharatiya Vidyavan auditorium at Chaupati. When the audience increased, he shifted to Shanmugananda Hall. I used to go and regularly attend the discourses from him. And then Dayananda Saraswati Shishya is Vididatmanandaji. Many of you have met Vididatmanandaji. You have met earlier batches. He was our science of spirituality. Many of you have gone to Baroda in his ashram. At least few people in this batch. I think 2001, 2003 PGDM. And Vididatmanandaji Shishya is M.L. Srikanth. And I do not know how many of you know M.L. Srikanth is a very, very learned person in Vedanta, in Upanishad, Kathopanishad. And I had great opportunity to work closely with him. And people may be thinking, we are talking about SPJ. No, we were talking about spirituality. And he used to tell how spirituality is the only way. And he even wanted to tell that how spirituality should be brought as an integral part of the education system all over the world. So this is one part where I learned. Then another great personality is Sarva Priyananda. Sarva Priyananda is from the Chinmaya mission. And he is based in America. So if you attend the discourses by these people, you get a glimpse of what really means life. What is the purpose of life? Why we are born, what we are achieved, how to have a perpetual happiness, how we are not disturbed by the things happening outside, how to insulate ourselves from whether pleasing thing, unpleasing thing come, unpleasant things come, how take it with equanimity. And your knowledge will increase, I tell you. This is what. Now, second part, they have taken the path. They say, we are not now come to a level of understanding spirituality. If I ask a young man who is very eager to get a placement in Capgemini, I tell them spirituality. He will say, spirituality, no, you tell me some questions for the placement. They will not be interested. So, these another set of gurus, they take you to practical. They take you to meditation. They take you to kriyas. And that my journey is, I started with Mahesh Yogi. That was in 1968, 1969. Mahesh Yogi of Transcendental Meditation. And I tell you, many of the people, not from their Shishya, I directly meet them. I had a God's grace, opportunity, a grace that we come across the people. Something happened, we come across the people. And his method is transcendental meditation. That means you have to sit here and then he will give a mantra. And that mantra can be either Shivoham, Shivam, can be, and not a God's name as such. And then you do, his own method is there. That is Mahesh Yogi's transcendental meditation. Then afterwards, I came across one Purnananda Saraswati. He's a very great personality. And his method is Mudra Pranayama. He was the director of the Yoga Institute at Rishikesh. And he went to Nepal and learned from the monks a special technique which is called Mudra Pranayama. And I asked the people to bring the chair because before I go, I want to show you the Mudra Pranayama, which cannot be shown by standing. Actually, I have to sit on here, but chair is also okay because you are in the chair, so I can be here. So now, his is Mudra Pranayama, that is Purnananda Saraswati. All these things happen by chance only in our life. Somebody asked me how you made it, how you changed from you are in HMD, you are Cochin Refinery, how you moved to academy. I said, I did not move, I moved. Things happen in our life. The more you become spiritual, you know, things are happening. All are things happen. Whom we meet, whom we marry, where we die, all are there. Don't think that I will do. That is all a feeling of aham only. That will go away. So, this Purananda Saraswati, what happened when he learned the mudra pranayama from the monks, he understood that it is a full substitute for all asanas. So instead of having Shirshasana, this moving, you can do simply by mudras. He told the people. But they did not agree. Because their job is Yoga Institute. If mudra pranayama means our job will be lost. They did not agree. Then he said that I am resigning. He resigned from the director of the Yoga Institute and he moved to different places. And when he came to Matunga, he wanted a group of 20 people who will attend. Again, by God's grace, I was in that group. So I learned Mudra Pranayama from Purananda Saraswati. Then another personality is Vipassana. I went to Nasik 2 times. And some of you have definitely gone to Vipassana of Goinga, which is based mainly on the Buddhism principle. And Vipassana, we have to go there for 9 days and then practice noble silence, simply silent. Even Ramana Maharshi used to say, how to do meditation? Chumma iri. Chumma iri means don't do anything. If we feel we are doing meditation, you are not in meditation. Meditation will occur only. It also happens only. So, Vipassana is another method or another practice that then I don't know whether you have heard about Nirmala Devi, the instantaneous Kundalini awakening by Nirmala Devi. And I went to this, our big ground, Shivaji Park ground. 10,000 people are there. And the Mother will come. Mother has got a big symbol also here. And she will first change you and change the mind. I am forgiving. I do not have any enemy. So she makes us understand that the meditation will happen when all our mental disturbances vanish. If you have got a vengeance with somebody, and if you feel that a guilty feeling with you, you cannot go into meditation. Your mind will be always disturbed only. It will come, some vengeance, why this happened. So you will be looking, fronts, enemies. What happened earlier, what is going to happen? You will never be in meditation. So she first removes that. I have no enemy. Whatever happened, happened. Then she has got a practice by telling, Me Atma Hum, like that. And some sound will come, she show the hands like this. And really I tell you, whether it is Kundalini or not, some energy passing you can feel. And later on I think it might have been some type of Kundalini. So that is her way of doing. Then automatically I went to Ravi Shankar's, not directly, one of his teachers, and learned Sudarshana Kriya. And when I learned Sudarshana Kriya, I understood there is a lot of similarity between Sudarshana Kriya and Mudra Pranayama. So in Mudra Pranayama, they have got mudras. Whereas in here, we have got different this type of thing and this thing, then Sogam, similar, lot of similarity. How? You know one thing, these exercises, simple body exercises, gymnasium, that will build only your muscle. But you do little practice of pranayama, your internal organs, lungs, all the internal organs will start functioning better. So like that, he used to take the method of this, taking different types of meditation. So Sudarshana Kriya is one part. And recently, around 5 years back, I went to Coimbatore because I want to see how our Sadguru is teaching. And Sadguru is called Sambhavi Mudra. And that teaching has got 3 parts. First, we have to do some exercises like this. That is remove the sleepishness. Because otherwise, when you sit meditation, you will sleepish. So he will just remove this. Then later on, he will say chant Om. So that also all the people will chant. That is not Om. He will say Om. Like that all the people will be chanting. That itself will be a spiritual experience like that. Then there is a pranayama also. And after the pranayama, there is again meditation. So this is our Sadguru. So I learned that, see, some or other no we come across, not that I want to learn from all Guru and judge who is the best. That was not the plan. You may be thinking, he had no business. Whichever Guru there he goes and find out are they good. That was not the thing. It so happened, I came across and a number of people and learned that. Now what I am going to tell you is, see, finally, all these will help you what we call as Andakarana Shuddhi. So I am basically going to tell you in the current session within another 5-10 minutes, which I am very sure will be useful to you. So I am not taking as a class. I can tell you the moment you realize, because the Bhagavad Gita and all are Bhagavad Gita, which covers all the type of Upanishad. You go read again and again, more knowledge will come to you. So, all the, whether what I learned from Chinmayananda or Dayananda Saraswati or Vididatmananji or Dr. Srikanth, I am going to brief to you what is the essence of our Vedas. That will take 5 minutes. Then another 5 minutes, I will, even though I am not authorized to teach, I will explain you what is Mudra Pranayama. Now what happens, since lot of learning is online also, I think even if I am not an authorized Guru, if I tell, you can further look into your online and do also. And if you do regularly, now after learning all this, you may be asking, what is that you are doing regularly? Can you do all the things? Not necessary. So I do certain basic things, which includes this Mudra Pranayama, and around Vipassana type of around 10 minutes, around 20-25 minutes you spend every day. It will change your life. And I am also going to tell you how that changed my life. So 2 things I am going to tell. What is the essence of our Vedanta? Then one type of pranayama. And then I am going to tell you, because now initially every class we have to tell why the people, the audience should be motivated, why they are interested in listening this. I can tell you it changes your life. Changes your life. I am confident about this. So I will tell some incidences in life to show that how it changed. So we start. See, who we are. One is now everything is energy, mind, matter. 3 things you consider. Matter, mind, energy. And E is equal to mc square. Energy converts into matter, matter converts into energy. So the Bhumi, Rabo, Anilo, that is whether it is Bhumi, whether it is water, whether it is Agni, whether it is Vayu, whether it is Akasham, the entire universe is made by a combination of this, that all of you, many of you may be aware. And every item, every person or every individual, every creation, we call is a part of a cosmos. And they are all interrelated. The interrelation is 2 ways. One is interchange of molecules, which is according to theory, the molecule. The entire body according to Buddhism is, we are a bundle of cells, large number of cells, vibrations, put together by karma. So these will be, every day the cells will be living and dying, living, dying, new coming. So things going on. So it is like a water flow, like a Ganga. Not that what I was there 50 years back, none of the cells exist now. It is a different set of cells. But this karma, the yoga, the vasana, the mind, brings it together as a body again. So, first we take, so in the Bhagavad Gita, there is a Kshetratnya yoga, the Purushottama yoga, and if you look at this, it explains that one is this body. And Srikanth used to like by telling, some of you might have heard his classes, Annamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, then Vijna, the Pranamaya Kosha, Jnanamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha. So 5 koshas. Otherwise, the body is divided. You can make a separate one, gross body and subtle body. Bhagavad Gita tells Kshara and Akshara. Kshara means Sarvabhuta Ksharo Bhava, which goes, vanishes. As a boy, I am there. As a young man, I am there. As an old man, I am there. What changes is Kshara, but I continue. So what continues? And the Bhagavad Gita tells that Dehinosmin Yada Dehe Kaumaram Yauvanam Jara Tada Dehandara Prapsar Dhirastatarna Muhyadi. Just like Kaumaram came to me, old age came to me, I move from one birth to another birth. So we are a jiva passing through a number of births. My name may be different. I don't know whether I was a man or an animal, but earlier I had number of lives. Now I am passing through a part. Again I continue. Now, when we die, this body goes away. Ground, whatever the earth, go to earth. Water evaporates. Air disappears. But what does not disappear is called Jivatma. Some energy which is part of the grace of God that is with you. That is Akshara. That does not go. That takes away the vasanas from you, the punya papas from you. According to whatever actions you have taken, what you have built. See, every action we do, it has got impact on the outside world and impact on you. And this impact on you makes your swabhava, your karma bhala. And this Jivatma, that energy, takes this. So, to avoid a mistake, I have written also, I will read it out, how the Bhagavad Gita tells that the Jivatma moves taking away, taking along with it the vasanas. That is why some children born, they can sing. Some children nowadays, no, even 1 year old can do the mobile, because maybe AI last janma. Now immediately they do all the things. So, it passes. But remember, you cannot take your Demat account to next janma. Demat account is gone. See, when Alexander died, when we asked him, what is your last wishes? He said, for my cremation, that the box that you are making, you make it two side open, so that keep my hands outside. And the coffin remaining you close. And the body was taken, hands were outside. This is to show that I have conquered a land. And I am going with nothing. So all all this struggle that to yearn, do this, when the age increases, that will vanish. Why for all this? See, some of you have learned critical thinking. Critical thinking tells, in addition to statistics, type 1 error, type 2 error, there is a type 3 error. Type 3 error is finding out correct solution to a wrong problem. So, our life is like that. Life is like that. That means in our life, we have missed the target. What we thought is success is not a success. I want a big palace. No, not required. Even simple living can be a great thing. So, this spirituality makes you learn that you are moving in a wrong direction. Or your malsara, a competition, gaining and earning, all will vanish. You see, why all? In the long number of lives together, you are going to carry only punya papa with you and nothing else. So this part is Bhagavad Gita. So that particular part, even though I remember, I brought a small piece of paper. This Bhagavad Gita, I am not a Sanskrit learned person. Instead of learning Sanskrit and learning Bhagavad Gita, I learned Bhagavad Gita, through that I know Sanskrit. See, here I tell you, one is Dwadimo Purushe Loge, Charakshara Evaja, Charasarvani Bhudani, Kudasto Akshara Uchyade, Uttama Purushastvanya, Paramatme Yudakardaga, Yo Logatrayamavishya Bhivartabhya Ishvara. This tells that Dwamibo Purushe Loge, Purusha, that is Prakriti Purusha, matter energy, there are two types. One is Chara, that is what comes and goes, another is Akshara. And the Akshara they call the Kudastha or the Jivatma. Then it tells, other than this, our body, mind, that is the Ksharabhava, and the Kudastha, the Jivatma, there is Uttama Purusha, Purushottama, which is, see, in the Kshetrajna Yogam, no, that Bhagavan tells that Aham, all Kshetrajna are me only. See, finally, no, you know, the according to Shankaracharya and all, when you say that the Jivatma Paramatma union is the thing. That is, instead of feeling that I am separate from the divinity makes you limited person. Once you understand that you are part of the infinite energy, your all limitations go away. And he gives the example that Dayananda Saraswati gives typical example of a wave. Any wave feeling that I am a wave only, that is a big wave, I am a small wave, all competition. And the wave understand that I am the sea, I am the ocean, I am the water, all your competition vanishes. So these gurus give lot of examples so. Idam sharirang kaundeya kshetramit abhidiyade edadyo vetinam prahu kshetrajna ididadvidaha. This is a powerful method of meditation. That is, difference between the onlooker and the object. Whatever we look, we are not that. Whatever I can see, I am not that. So here it tells, idam sharirang gaundeya kshetramit abhidiyade. So he made a tone, this body is kshetra. And who knows the kshetram is the kshetrajna, that is the jivatma, who understands that body is different. That is, I am not the body. And even Sadguru, no? See, the Sadguru's method is, in the meditation, he go on telling, I am not the body, I am not the mind. I am not the body, I am not the mind. And he goes on telling during the meditation, that is to remove the feeling that we getting entangled with the body-mind complex. And then I tell you this. See, this part is the essence. Mamai vamsho jivaloge. Mamai means Bhagavan tells my part, the whole divinity. And here remember, no, it is not a religious one. Even the same principle there in the Punjabi, this also in the Bible also, everything is connected only. Because I was with fathers, Father Agnal Vashi, and I was 22 years with them. And I go to retreat along with the fathers and attend their program also. Then I understand there is a lot of things. So this is not any, but the principle is, Mamai vamsho jivaloge, jiva bhuda sanadana, manashashtani indriyani, prakristani karshadi, shariram yadavapnodi, yachapyudu kramadishvara, grihidvaidani samyadi, vayur gandhadi veshyad. The meaning is, my amsham, that is my part, the divinity, that appears in the world as jiva bhuda. That is why the entire, the Vibhuti Yoga and the Vishwarupa, all is telling the whole world is my manifestation. And in that, in your body, manashashtan indriyani, because we have got different indriyas, they your sense organs, and the manas is the main thing. So in Malayalam there is a song, the Arkanaladi Velivokka Grihikkim oru kanninu kannu manamagunna kanna adinu kanna irunna porul thanannu urakkum alavanandam endu hari narayanaya nama. See, what it tells is, because this I have seen, once you learn more, you will see the basic is same only. Arkanaladi velivokka grihikkim. That means Surya, Chandra, all the sea. That we are looking, we are understanding by looking our eyes. Then, kanninnu kannu manamagunna kanna. This is a lens only. We are seeing through the manas only. So, kanninnu kannu manasa. Manasagunna kanna adinu kanna irunna porul. Adina, that means the eyes of the eye. That is the divinity. Then, so when we die, shariram yadavapnodi, when this body is left, we become old, like a dilapidated cloth we remove. What happens? Yachapyudu kramadishvara, the jivatma takes grihidvaidani samyadi vayur gandha niveshyat. Just like air takes the vasanas from the flower and moves like that, it takes vasanas from here. And now, you may ask, what is the purpose of learning all this? Why we worry? Then again I worry. What will happen to my Atma? Another worry. Another worry starts. What will happen to my Atma? Here I tell you, this understanding makes you in a pure way. The way you behave changes. And our Vididatmananji used to take a simple way. Two basic principles. One principle is, whatever you do, you as a Ishvara Arpana. That means, Yogascha Kuru Karmani Sangandaktva Dhananjaya Siddhya Siddhyau Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchyade. You do your karma for the benefit of other people. We are living here by the services, the product services given by other people. We get air, oxygen given by the different plants giving out. So the entire thing comes by benefit of other people. So therefore it tells, as a contributor back, you have to contribute back. And therefore the basic principle is yogascha kuru karmani. Yogascha means as a service to other people you do your karma. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. That means don't look what I get, everything. Sangam daktva, don't get attached to that. Siddhya siddhyau samo bhutva. The result may be favorable or unfavorable, don't worry about that. Siddhya siddhyau samo bhutva, samatvam yoga uchyade. The moment you are able to accept whatever comes to you, whether it is favorable according to your expectation or opposite your expectation, you get an equanimity of the mind. Because understand that the things agama bhayino nitya stam siddhishwasva bharada gadasuna gadasumscha nanu shojandi bandida. What is that? Gadasuna gadasumscha. Thing will be coming, going, coming, going, coming, going. Just observe that. Don't get disturbed by that. So this type of, if you take chapter 13, Kshetra Yoga, which is a powerful chapter, it tells you 20 qualities of what is jnana. It starts by telling anamitvam, ahambhitvam, ahimsa, kshandirarjavam. Like that, it tells 20 qualities that you have to develop. So, the way you behave is, you get a prasada buddhi. Whatever happens, it happens. You accept that. Yadrishcha labha sandushto. Yadrishcha, whatever comes, it is a happening only. So, the attitude changes. And when attitude changes, expectation changes. And your ability increases, creativity increases. The innovation and creativity will start from the way the mind works changes. So these are the things. So now I am going to tell you two things. One is, first I will show you Mudra Pranayama. Then I will tell 2-3 instances about what happened in my life. One is when I was in HMT, the personal manager there became chief of Cochin Refinery. And then he called me, why don't you come and join? And there was not much interview. I was directly appointed as the associate chief engineer materials in Cochin Refinery. But in Cochin Refinery, when I went there, I understood that I am working in a hostile atmosphere. The moment I went, 3 people met me. I said, we are in your department. The seat you are sitting is a promotion post for us. Because they were not engineers, but they had a good experience. 3 people, very good experience. And they were aspiring to be promoted to that post. But they took me, and I tell you, my inner mind accepted their contention. They should have been promoted. So I felt that I am blocking their promotion. I was not able to work very smoothly there. Then I thought, why I left HMT? HMT I was well established. I came here, so I met the chairman and told that at the time of interview, you might have told me that this is the situation. You took me and then told me that you can join. Then he said, we can call you a king. You have to make king yourself. If you are not able to do, we cannot help. That was his method. You established. But they were very considerate. They said, if you feel we have done a mistake, you can change the job. Until you get a job, you can continue. That was offer given to me. Then I applied anywhere. I applied to Tata Tea, to another institution, somewhere selected. But finally, it is a God-given thing only you will land in. So it was destined that I moved to academics. And when I moved to Father Agnal, that is an orphanage, and they were a polytechnic, I looked after the production. They had a production center, and they wanted to apply for an engineering college. Then I prepared the project report, applied for the engineering college, and I tell you, at that time when interview for the principal came, I was selected as the principal. And all the BJT, IIT, the people were telling, how can this man be principal? He has not been a teacher, not a professor. How can HMD Cochin Refinery to principal of engineering college? How it happened? So I was a very specific specimen. Delay. Okay. So I have to cut short the stories. So this, I just wanted to tell that I moved to here to Father Agnal, and I became principal. I was the principal for 22 years. I am the senior most principal in the Bombay University. No principal is 22 years. Because therefore I worked with so many vice chancellors, so many director of education and all. Then here Srikanth called me. I said, why don't you be a faculty here? I heard that you are retiring, you can be here. Then I happened to be the director of the institute, and I was surprised. Oh, I can be a director of SPJMR. SPJMR is such a big institute. But I believe that Srikanth is such an intelligent man. If he finds me suitable, I may be suitable only. Then I joined there. Now, all my life that. So I will take 3 minutes to show you what is a Mudra Pranayama. Story, in case I am here for the next back to classroom, next year I will take. So now, see, first you have to sit like this, be cool, and first the mudra is like this. The mudras are very important because what happens now, it is a very connected with your acupressure road. That is, every pressure points are here. So you cross it here, and again here. Okay, then first the mudra is like this. So first I will show you a mudra. After mudra, pranayama is same only. So I am giving a very comprehensive way because I can explain you in a shorter time also. One is this mudra. This mudra keeps all your organs like your leg, your hands, all energized. Hands, leg, energized by this mudra. Second mudra is like this. You have to pressurize like this. If you, this pressure is here. Here you have to pressure. This is from this portion to this, up to this area. All the organs will be energized by this portion. This. Third one is this. This is above your neck. These are the three mudra. Then what you have to do is, first mudra, you do this mudra, like this mudra, and then take the breathing inside. Then little bit holding, give it out forcefully. This way 7 times you do. Second, same mudra. Again taking air inside, giving out, do 5 times. Third mudra, again keep like this, do 5 times. So I have told you, one mudra, second mudra, third mudra. Each mudra you will be taking, breathing air inside, holding it, and then leaving it. Then, third one is, same mudra, keep like this, keep like this. Then again do. So you have done 4 parts now. First part, second part, third part, fourth part. Fifth is the Mahat Pranayama. It includes throwing out all your toxins in the body. Throw out all the toxins. Just like you have got your impurities in the body, there is impurities in the mind and in your breathing. And the breath connects you with the world. Therefore, throw, forcefully throw. After doing this, You take the air inside. See, you have to take the air inside, then move the head backward, then forward, then lock it here and lock downwards. So this locking period you can stay easily 2 minutes. Then you come and release. So this mudra pranayama, which takes only 10 minutes. If you do every day, your body, mind will be taken care of. That is more powerful. If you do gymnasium, asanas, all the benefits will come. Then vipassana type any meditation, you simply sit here, go on observing the breathing. Air goes in and comes out. Thoughts may come, let it come, but again come back to breathing. Thoughts will take away. Some thoughts, this person is waiting, then this class will be over. But again you come back to this. Again come back to breathing only, because I am breathing only, I am not looking at him, breathing. Then, after you do this breathing exercise, 9 days program it is. On the second day, third day, you will feel sensations in the body. I thought now whether an ant is moving, whether a mosquito is moving, actually nothing is moving. These are all sensations in the body. You will feel sensations in the body. And the 5th, 6th day, you will feel your weight is reduced. But if you go and weigh, weight will be same, but you will get a feel of weight is reduced. So, dear friends, I tell you, spend some time. Sadhguru calls it inner engineering. In addition to studying AI, improve your natural intelligence. That is all better. God bless you. Thank you. These words.
What a joy it was to learn from Dr. Iyer. No wonder it has been on popular demand for years now. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to hear from the guiding force behind SPJIMR's continued journey of excellence and wise innovation. We are honored to invite our esteemed Dean on the stage to share his thoughts and vision for SPJIMR. Please put your hands together and welcome Dr. Varun Nagraj.
So I'm here in the next 15 minutes. I want us to focus on the difference between the Rig Veda and the Upanishads. And I'm going to talk to you about how, I'm not qualified to do any of that, all right? What I am qualified to do is talk to you about results and winning, all right? That's basically what we're going to talk about, even though it probably runs everything to what Dr. Iyer said, that results don't matter. They do, in my opinion, all right? So let's talk about results and say, congratulations to all of you, because it's because of the alumni, to a large degree, that in 2024, we were Financial Times' #1 ranked institution in India. All right? So let's go with that. All right. Let me also actually break some breaking news that will be coming out on Monday. We officially received our accreditation from Equus, which basically makes us India's 4th business school to have what's called the triple crown of AACSB, AMBA, and Equus. And that's coming out tomorrow, right? There are only 225 schools worldwide that actually have this triple crown. So it is a very big achievement, especially since we had failed 5 years ago when we had tried to get the Equus accreditation. So it's nice to basically have that notch as well, since we failed the last time, all right? So with those under our belts, I think it's a good reason to feel good and to thank the alumni. Because as I point out to my students, none of this is because of anything they have done. It's because of what the alumni have done, right? And thank you, because without alumni contributions over the last 20, 30, 40 years, we would not be in this position. So once again, let's put our hands together for the alumni here. Now, just to get a show of hands so I can figure out how far back I should go in terms of the changes we have made. Anybody here from the 90s? Okay. All right, 2000s, 2010 to 2020. Okay, and then those that have been here since I was a dean, 21 onwards. Anybody? All right. So you guys will probably be old news for you, right? But we've got a larger group that I think merits some consideration and an update. So let me take a few minutes and describe to you the program as it exists, what SPJMR is trying to do by way of teaching, research, and service, right? There are three pillars to an educational institution. It is not teaching alone. Teaching is just one of three pillars that all modern educational institutions have or are expected to have. So I'll talk a little bit about each of these three because we as an institution have tended to focus a lot on the teaching part, which is all well and good, but there are these two other elements as well that modern world-class institutions have to focus on. So on the teaching side, which you can think of as programs that we have, so again, just some quick updates on numbers for you. Our PGDM program, which is a 2-year program, now has an intake of about 360 students a year. That's the sanctioned intake, and we generally hit that number. 355, 358, with a few dropouts at the end. And so 360 a year times 2, right? That's 720 students on campus, in the residential blocks that you see as you come in from Gate 4. We have a 1-year program called PGPM, which has been running for a while, whose sanctioned capacity is about 180 or so. So add that on, and that is a 1-year program. That's about 900 full-time students that we have. We have a program called GMP, or a Global Management Program, which is an on-ramp to a foreign university. So we have about half a dozen schools in the United States and in Europe. And these students spend 6 months with us. They get a certificate only from us, and then they transfer these credits over to the foreign schools. It might be the University of Maryland, it might be Rutgers, Stevens Institute in the US, Kedge, and so forth in Europe. And they graduate from there, right? So their degrees then are from those foreign schools. They have a certificate from us, and we're giving them basically a leg up, if you will, or an on-ramp into these schools. And these students tend to be full-time students as well, and we tend to have somewhere between 50 and 100 a year of that nature. So overall, somewhere between 900 and 1,000 students are full-time on campus here, basically staying at the residential dorms. So those are our full-time programs. Now, we also have a large modular programs or an executive program portfolio. The Pride and Joy, one that is basically meeting their 100th cohort, their 100th batch in January, is our executive management program. So the PGEMP program, which has started 20 plus years ago, is now to a point where there are 100 batches that are going to be, that are starting, the 100th batch is starting in January. So which means we take about 4 or 5 batches per year, and these tend to be about 50 people each. So there are 250 students we take in who are company-sponsored students from Larsen and Toubro and Schneider Electric and Shapoorji Pallonji and Blue Star and so forth that basically join this program. And it's a 2-year program where they come on campus 10 days every quarter. And so they would have 8 such residencies or 80 days on campus over a period of 2 years. And they're back in their companies working, and they're company-sponsored candidates. And our faculty works closely with the company's management in terms of curating the programs, aligning project expectations, and so forth. So that's a very, very unique part of SPJMR. We are the longest running executive management program in the country, with the 100th cohort just coming up. We have another executive program, which is a weekend program that has started in Mumbai and in Delhi. And this has now been sanctioned for up to 120 a year. So this runs every alternate weekend on Fridays and Saturdays, and it is a PGP GM, a general management program, with students generally ranging in experience from 7, 8 years to 20 years. Interesting, eclectic mix of people who, for whatever reason, are choosing to do their MBA at this point, many times for just knowledge, and sometimes for potentially career advancement within their companies or career changes and so forth. Executive programs, we don't deal with issues of career services and, placements. We may provide them coaching on how to present themselves better and so forth, but it's not a placement-oriented thing like the PGDMs and the PGPMs are. So that's yet another 120 that are executive programs. So you got 250 plus 120 over there. Our family managed business program, which again, 20 years old, takes in roughly 200 students a year in 2 cohorts, roughly of 100 each. And so that's yet another addition to our executive portfolio. And the family managed business students come in for 1 week every 4 weeks, and they go back to their family businesses for the next 3 weeks in order to continue to practice what they've learned, hopefully, applied back in practice within their family businesses. And that's a very hands-on, experiential-based programs. Now, there are some interactions between these. The family business students do interact with the 2-year PGDM students. by way of a festival that's now called Confluence. It used to be called Dhanda, wherein the PGDM students act as consultants to the FMB students on their family businesses, and then there is a competition that allows them to propose improvements and so on. So we do our best to show some level of interaction between these various programs. And then to a large degree, sort of my personal favorite, if you will, is the PGP-DM program. So this is a postgraduate program for development management, which is targeted at the nonprofit organization. So this is where we have managers come in who are working managers in NGOs, and a portion of them are in CSR organizations of large companies. So they essentially come in for an 18-month program, 12-month program, with us, with 6 residencies when they come on campus. This is a lovely, lovely program because these, in many cases, are first-generation learners who are activists, who are working on the ground with their NGOs. And it is a very different kind of experience, and one that all our faculty immensely enjoy. It's a totally different student group. Here, I did receive and lobbied heavily and received permission from our governing council to expand the take here. So we offer a large number of scholarships into this program because it's a highly subsidized program to begin with, but we realized we were not reaching the number of people we wanted to reach with this particular offer, because even that what we considered a highly, highly subsidized low cost was too much for them to bear. So, from a good business point of view, you always look at the incremental cost of adding headcount, right? In any kind of P&L, you should always look at variable costs, never at the full thing. And the variable cost of adding new students into this program was minuscule, right? And so we basically said, let's go ahead, because the ROI on the incremental investment we make in terms of expanding this particular program, the postgraduate program in development manager, was absolutely worth it. So we have now expanded it from what used to be 40 a year to 100 a year, with the 60 new folks coming on scholarships. That then now, I think, makes us a more meaningful contributor to India's social development. So these are essentially our formal programs, right? And for many of you who went to school in the 90s and early 2000s, some of this might be new news, right? But this is basically our program portfolio. That's on the teaching side. On the research side, what has happened over the last many, many years is the expectation that faculty members spend a significant portion of their time in producing research output. And research output are journal articles, which are meant for other scholars. Unfortunately, journal articles are not meant for practitioners, which is a problem with the management education system. Different topic for a different day. Case studies, for example, would be considered scholarly output as well. So this is something that faculty members have to spend almost as much time on as they do on teaching, which is a big shift in Indian education, right? So now think about sort of an educational system where a faculty member is expected to have as much effort on their individual research output or team research output if they're collaborating, as they do on all the time they spend preparing for class, delivering class, and so forth. So it's not an afterthought. It's a 40% equivalent that we now expect in terms of faculty members, in terms of their contributions to teaching and research. So this would be a big difference from the time when you were in business school, when you thought of your faculty members primarily as teachers, right? Now you have to think of them as teachers and thought creators that have to now be benchmarked against international standards, which is the reason why, I'm fundamentally a competitive person, saying things like Equus basically show us that we're on the right track towards having benchmark levels of international thought leadership. And the last portion of what a faculty member does, or what the institution does, is service, where we engage directly with the community outside. Not necessarily just through the PGP-DM students who go out and make social change happen, or through the changes you make happen in corporate India, but what does the institute do to directly engage with the communities around it? And here we have identified 4 communities that we have deep engagements with at the institute level, not necessarily through the student body, all right? We also leverage it for work with the students, as I'll describe to you, but the idea is to have these engagements directly with these 4 communities. Community number 1 is the Andheri K-Ward community. While the Abhyuday program, which the director of Abhyuday will talk about, was conceived initially as a way of providing our PGDM students social sensitivity, in my view, in our vision, it's expanded a lot more. It is really about providing what would be called SDG number 4, which is quality education, and making our contributions to that quality education goal for the Andheri K-Ward community. So the PGDM students play a part in that, of course, but the mission of Abhyuday is far greater than the PGDM Sitara interaction. It is about making sure that we have a large body of students within the Andheri K-Ward area that are disadvantaged today, that have every fighting chance to be as accomplished as our PGDM students in the future. So that is one community engagement we have. And the director of Abhyuday will describe to you some of the things that we've done. But to me, this is one of our signature accomplishments, that we've taken our assets at SPJMR that lie underutilized. For example, the design thinking lab that is barely used by our PGDM students, we've opened it up and said, how could this be used by the 7th and 8th graders and 9th graders in the 75 municipal schools in the Andheri area. So if you as alumni ever came into SPJMR on pretty much any other day, you're going to see hordes of small children here because they are taking advantage of the underutilized facilities that we have, and a bunch of enrichment programs we do that go well beyond what the PGDMs do by way of their interaction. So that's community one. Community number two is the family business community. So besides having the family business program, what else can we do to have networking happen between the family businesses? What can we do for the women in family business who may not have had the advantage of going in and getting educated the way perhaps the menfolk in their business did? What can we do for family business investment offices? So there's a bunch of efforts really around building, if you will, extending the family business ecosystem beyond us essentially doing the teaching part that we do in the family business program. The third area we have is essentially the NGO sector. So while we have a program called DOCC that many of you definitely participated in, our NGO involvement goes well beyond that. How do we directly engage with NGOs in order to make things happen, right? So the PGPDM program is a way of engaging. It was targeted at that. But there are other ways in which we essentially try to engage with capacity building or capability building with the NGO sector. So these are sort of three communities, right? The local Andheri K-Ward community, the family business ecosystems around India, and then the NGO sector, again, in terms of our ability to impact their efficiency, not about what our students learn from them, but what it is that we contribute to the NGO sector. And the fourth sector that the next speaker will talk about is essentially what we want to do around entrepreneurship and innovation. So here we have a center called WISE-Tech, which stands for Wise Innovation Studio for Emerging Technologies, that acts as an accelerator for startups, not necessarily with any connection with SPJMR. We will take the best startups that are in the country that apply to the accelerator program. We try and enrich them and move them forward. And while doing so, we focus on a particular kind of entrepreneurship that is inclusive. So when we pick fintech companies, we're looking for financial inclusion as a possible criteria for picking these particular accelerators. We want to pick technologies and technology companies that are providing societal good. So when we pick sustainability-oriented companies, we're of course looking to make sure they're economically viable, because without profit, there is no life. We all know that. But we're also looking to see what kind of impact they're looking to make on the environment, on the carbon footprint, on trash, on other kinds of elements that might make sense from a planetary and a people point of view. So WISE-Tech is basically our new center that we've launched over the last year under the leadership of Mr. Manoj Mohan, who, by the way, is a PGDM alumnus of our own from the 2000s. And that, again, is sort of our contribution. Now, these assets, what we do with the Andheri K-Ward, what we do with NGOs, what we do with family business, what we do with entrepreneurs, does provide a platform for our students to learn as well. It provides a platform for our faculty to research interesting new topics, because interesting research topics come from being out there, understanding what the key problems are. So they're not out there just serving the community. As they're serving the community, they're creating opportunities that improve the student experience and that improve the faculty research experience. So these are sort of the initiatives, if you will, that we have. So when you think of SPJMR, you basically want to think about what we do by way of teaching, what we do by way of research, and what we do by way of service. Right? That's probably the right way you want to look at your alma mater in terms of what you look at it, even though obviously your experience has been shaped by that 40% that's dedicated towards creating the graduates out of SPJMR. So part of you being here, of course, is for me to acknowledge with all my heart the contributions that you've made to getting us to where we are. But part of me being here, and sorry, this is the American in me, is also to ask you for more, okay? And let me tell you what I'd like from you, that is more than what you might currently be doing. Get engaged with us. Get engaged with us in more ways. If you have experiences that make sense in the classroom, reach out to the faculty member that you remember and offer up your expertise to come into a class to potentially be a guest lecturer. If you're in companies where you know there is hiring going on, reach out to our placements or career services office and make those connections happen. So these would be sort of conventional methods through which you could essentially contribute to the university by way of your knowledge and by the way of the connections you have. Within the entrepreneurship context, within the accelerators, volunteer to be a mentor. And Manoj will talk to you about the cool, fun opportunities you have to mentor startups. If you have 20 years of experience and you want to share it and productively channel it in some manner, what better opportunity than to work with a startup that may be able to take advantage of your skills and your expertise. So providing, again, your expertise and knowledge in the context not just of the classroom, but the things we're doing. If you have CSR organizations within your companies, connect them to our organizations. We spend money on our community engagement. So just so you know, our fees do not necessarily cover this 20% of the community engagement we do. The community engagement that we do requires us to raise money. All right? So our revenue sources are not just the tuition fees. They cover our teaching and our research. But a lot of the community engagement requires money to be raised from outside. It requires CSR money. It requires grants. It requires alumni donations of a significant nature. This is how the rest of SPJMR's activity gets covered, and this is how it's done around the world. All right? The service element is an important part of any university's element, but alumni contributions are an important part of how a university's financial structure works. And that's not one we have emphasized a whole lot to date. Right? So I apologize for the sales pitch, but one of the things you guys have to think about is how is it that you can financially support SPJMR, not to educate our students and do research, we've got that covered, but if any of these community activities appeal to you, if it appeals to you that we are out there educating and uplifting children in the Andheri K ward, think about contributing to Abhyuday. If it appeals to you that we're out there raising the overall capabilities of the overall social sector, think about contributing to what's called the DOCC, right? Some of you were part of that because that manages all of those efforts, not just the student exchange part. If it appeals to you to sort of contribute to the innovation in some manner, and you want to support one of the entrepreneurs through a grant, or maybe even through equity, we'll find ways in which you can take equity positions in these particular companies that happen to be in the accelerator. Think about where that might be an interesting way for you to basically deploy some of your resources. So this would be sort of my ask to you, is you think about your role as alumni, as contributors, obviously, to our success. Nothing can take that away from you. And again, once again, I recognize with gratitude the fact that it is only the alumni's contribution along with the faculty's contribution that has brought us to where we are. And all I can hope from the future generation of students, including the ones who are here today, that they live up to the big shoes that you guys have, are created for them. Our future ranking depends on what our current students do 10 years from now, all right? So if our ranking is down 10 years from now, it's entirely the fault of the current students, all right? So therefore, that I will acknowledge and that I will thank. But do think about sort of in this expanded definition of what a university is responsible for, how your talents that you've accumulated through your years of experience and how your resources, whatever they might be, can potentially be deployed for us. Now with that, I do welcome all of you who are here. It means a lot to have you spend your weekend with us, catch up with each other and so on. But with that, I'll stop and I'll actually ask my friend Manoj Mohan to come in and talk about the entrepreneurship or the WiseTech initiative. And unlike me, I think he does use slides and so forth, right, Manoj? Yeah, he does. All right. All right, guys. And if there are any questions after we have this formal portion done, we're having lunch and so forth, just tap me on the shoulder and ask me about anything else that's out there. All right? Thanks.
When I was coming in, the students gave me this tag and they asked, do you want the alumni tag or the SPJMR staff tag? And I said, I really don't see the difference. Primarily because, and I'm slightly different from the speakers before me, and I'll be different. And this is something I always tell in some of the times when the people around me find me irritating in some of the comments I make. There's a huge difference in considering your alma mater and a job. In my life, I've worked, and I'll talk a little bit of myself. When all of you open up your LinkedIn profile, you will find a long tag of various companies you've worked with. And when you introduce yourself, you'll just say the last title you've held. You're not going to rattle off all the companies you've worked for. But for sure, you will say, I'm an alumni of this college, right? So alumni of X institution is something that's going to stay forever in your life. You may change your jobs, but you don't really change being alumni of institutions, right? So for me, when I met Varun and he asked me to take up this job, this was not really about a job. It was about what can I do for SPJN that's going to be different? And it was in my own selfish interest to see that SPJN continues to be very strong. And it's in our collective interest to see SPJN is strong. Because one thing that we don't realize, and I think many people within SPJN still don't realize this fact, is what are we really up against? It's brilliant that under Varun's leadership, we've got the Equus ranking. We are reasonably consistent in the top 5. I passed out in 2006. I joined Standard Chartered right after that. I was there for 15 years, from a management associate to running one of the investment banking units. Classic investment banker story, didn't want to do it anymore. And I kind of got out. And happenstance to meet Varun through my former boss, Anant Narayan, who is right now a SEBI member. He canvassed me to consider meeting him, and then one thing led to the other, I'm here. And one of the first thing I realized is, first, I came back, I didn't really attend many of the events, unfortunately, but when I sat here, I was amazed at the long list of programs we are running, because when I passed out, there were just 2 programs. There was just PGDM and the 1-year PGPM. It got me thinking about, why did SPGen do so many programs? What's happening in the B school situation around? So just some numbers to you. Today there are 20 or 21 IMs. That's just the IMs, right? And all of these IMs have collectively increased the number of student intakes. And then you have SPGen, NMIM is expanding, Bajaj, XLRI, FMS. And while we have moved from, during my time, we were a top 10, and we were between 9 and 11 in various rankings. So now we are between 5 and 7, right? That's very meaningful progress, doing what we have done. But that's not going to help us stay there. That's a harsh reality that many of the IMs people tend to call as baby IMs or new IMs or whatever you may call it. It's only a matter of time ABCLIK is going to get hyphenated with another 3 more IMs, right? General accepted parlance is ABCLIK is the top 6, that's the IMs, and everybody else comes after that. This is the colloquial parlance that people accept. Forget the rankings for a moment. So if we don't do things differently, if we don't position ourselves as a school with difference, I wouldn't be surprised 10 years into the future, you find SPGen back in the 15 to 20 ranking list. Because the top 6 would be the ABCLIK, and you can add another who there, I don't know who the next 3 IMs are going to be, that'll be their leadership. So the top 10 will be entirely IMs, and there will be SPGen, XLRI, all these guys fighting for the 10 to 15 spot. This is the reality that I see it, and this is also the reality with which I look at what I do every day, saying that whatever we are doing, whoever we engage, can it create a unique position for SPJMR? Can it ensure that we are not only running fast, but we are running faster than people around us, so that we are positioned to get the best brains in this country? Because at the end of the day, the real business that SPGen is finding the 1% talent, the top 1% talent, and make them better, right? Why am I giving such a long story? At the core of Vice Tech, this is the philosophy that we have really adopted and really looked at the startup scenario. So now, many of you are familiar with startup sector. It's probably the current government's, I would imagine, the star achievement, because pre-2014, startup sector was really just picking up. In the last 10 years with various government support schemes, it's fantastic growth. Officially, we are the 3rd largest startup ecosystem. There are 177,000 startups in this country. There are 900 incubators or thereabout. And almost every large education institution, be it IIT or IIM, have an incubator. And these incubators are funded by the government. Each institution gets about 10 crores to set up an incubator. And each of these incubators have about, give or take, between 50 to 100 startups working with them, right? And we don't have an incubator officially, by the way. Under Bhavans, we have an incubator under SPTBI, just right outside the gate. The Sardar Patel College has an incubator. We don't have an incubator. IMA has IMA Ventures, IMB has an incubator, IMC has an incubator, IML has an incubator, IMK has, IMI has, okay? Almost, I think, XLR, FMS, all of them have incubator. We have chosen not to be an incubator. Why am I giving all these stats to you? Because the entire incubator architecture, while it is great, it has really helped spur entrepreneurship on the ground. We are seeing certain gaps in that ecosystem. And that's a reason why we have chosen not to be an incubator and set up something called as Vice Tech. Otherwise, it was very easy for us to form SPJMR Section 8 incubator as well. So what's Vice Tech? What is the problem with the incubator ecosystem? Today, when I passed out and a couple of us wanted to do startups, we didn't have any infrastructure. We didn't know who to go to. And honestly, At that point of time, the average campus salary was 10 lakhs. It was still a big number to walk out of and take a plunge into it. And, I was dating my current wife, and I wasn't confident if I was, a startup entrepreneur, my father-in-law will agree to the marriage, right? So safer choice was to take Standard Chartered. The current generation has the luxury that today being a startup founder is cool. Nobody's going to question your choices. Because you have incubators where you can go find a space and be successful in life and all of that. But what's happening today in the incubator ecosystem is you've been in the incubator, you've built your startup, and then what? In US, there are these plug-and-play Techstars, massive accelerator ecosystems that take the baton from the incubator and take it forward, right? That ecosystem is still not evolved in India because we're a young startup ecosystem. So many of the young entrepreneurs that you find, they go into an incubator with one of these institutions, and they do well. Some of them don't, but after that, they're out on their own, right? Nobody's there to take care of it, right? Number one. Number two, the best incubators in the country are run by technology institutions, the IITs, for example, because many of the people who want to do entrepreneurship need hardcore tech handholding. SPGen is not a technology institution. We are a management institution. So logically, if you think, our strengths are to help build businesses. And why do you need to help build businesses? As Peter Drucker said, the best way to have a great future is to go and create it. Now, we don't create future, we create and nurture students who create that future. And I can see a clear difference in my generation and the students standing here. In my generation, we were really focused on getting a job. And somewhere along the last 20 years, I've realized that not only the people and the students are changing, the culture at organizations are also changing. Because the way technology has created disruption, and each of you as business heads will be facing the same, you're no longer asking your employees to be an employee. You want to be like an entrepreneur. Everybody in every appraisal conversation is not saying, what have you done to meet what you do? How have you done differently? You want entrepreneur in each of your organization. So the two massive shifts that we are going back to, the students don't want to just be employees anymore. I can see a lot of this younger crowd saying that, I have one bright kid working in the AdMap program. He was working in DRDO. He is working on his drone startup. He has zero interest in a job. Now, he may go and take a job, but I can clearly see that he wants to create a firm. The younger India is more confident. The younger India wants to be more independent, and the ecosystem is already built. So that's the first change that is happening. The second change, even if you go and take a job, most of the companies are getting disrupted by technology. So they want the employees also to behave like entrepreneur in a defined framework. Now, the hard part of entrepreneurship is that unlike many of the management concepts, you can't teach it in a classroom. Entrepreneurship, you can attempt to give concepts, but it only happens when you're out there rolling up your sleeves and getting your hands dirty. That's the only way you learn entrepreneurship. Or you tag along with a successful entrepreneur, try to understand their journey, be part of their journey through some projects. That's the only way you can learn it. So multiple perspectives converged into coming up with WiseTech. One, the need for SPGen to really do something different. The need that I saw as an alumni to ensure my alma mater has a unique pedestal to stay the top 5 school in this country for the next 25 years. The incoming bright batch who will fill your shoes, as Varun said, and hold the ranking, their aspiration is to be entrepreneurial in their thinking. And the current incubator ecosystem not being able to cater to what happens next when you get out of an incubator. So we've decided, let's start with an accelerator. 2 years back, we set up our first accelerator unit. It was really successful. We had a lot of connects. One thing to the other led to the next. And finally, we consolidated everything under what is called as a Wise Innovation Studio of WiseTech. So at the core of WiseTech is attempting to create a high-quality startup ecosystem. Now, I gave a larger conversation before this, primarily because now I don't have to tell you why we need a high-quality ecosystem. There are 900 incubators. They are great at the 0 to 1 journey. What happens up to 1 to 100? There aren't enough high-quality incubator. I was on a panel discussion on Thursday in Delhi for an IMA conference, and many investors were there. And the constant theme that we echoed is, yes, we are the third largest ecosystem. There are 177,000 startups in the country, yet it is hard to find high-quality startups. Not because the founders aren't good, because I see 3 kinds of founders, and I meet on an average about 300 to 400 startups every year. Right? Every month I meet 50 founders, and I find 3 kinds of founders. Category 1, who don't need any support. They're already great. Literally, they just need money. So they're the guys who end up as sequoias of the world and they build successful startups. And then category 3, even if you give them money, they're just not going to make it, right? They shouldn't be in the entrepreneurial business for a variety of reasons. And then you have category 2, who are good, the idea is good, the founder may be good, but without the right nurturing, they're just not going to make it. So Wise Tech is really focused on the category 2 folks, right? Who need us, who has a good idea, who's good pedigree, with the right nurture, they can be converted into a category 1. And for that, you need quality. It can't be a buffet approach where you come in, you sit, there is free coffee, there is free food, there's a couple of chartered accountants, couple of mentors floating around. Yeah, by the way, government seed fund scheme is there. Yesterday, incidentally, just to give you background for people, government has given every incubator with 10 to 20 crores to invest in startups, right? And on an average, they can invest between 25 lakhs to 50 lakhs as a government seed fund. It's a great initiative. Government has already deployed 1,000 crores into startup investment, which is great as an absolute amount, but which is peanuts when you compare to an economy of 5 trillion size, right? However, I had to ask a founder yesterday to reject a government seed fund because for a 1% stake, the term sheet was punitive like a VC term sheet, right? Now, I don't blame anybody in the system because it's government's money. You can't have it fly and loose. A lot of issues are sitting in this ecosystem, right? So when we came back, we said the only way to make our social contribution is to create focus on quality. Now, then the question is, what quality can SPGen bring, right? The business is we identify the best startups as we can, the category 2 guys who are good but need support. The category 1 has no business being here. They really don't need us. And the category 3 are a lost cause. We can't really support them, right? So category 2 identify startups and add value to them. How do we add value? Through coaching and connects. At this point, that's the best form we can do. So we first assembled a pool of mentors. We focused on having people with either deep expertise or people who are CXOs. And many of our mentors are former alumni. For example, Rakesh Bhuturia from, I believe, 92 batch. He's an alumnus with us. And we have a bunch of other guys who have all been alumni. Sujit Nair was my batchmate. He's currently working with Nandan Nilekani to build the FIDE Foundation. He's a mentor with us. So mentors were there. We got in touch with investors. Many of the largest VC firms in the country to take a look at all the startups that we present to them. We got in corporates. We have MOUs signed with 15 institutions. Many of them are banks. Then it's a couple of Tata companies, Mahindra, for example. Each of these people are also, if you remember the first part of the conversation was how companies are expecting employees to think like entrepreneurs. But the reality is you can't just turn a switch on and have your employee think like entrepreneurs. It has to be inculcated right from beginning. As a result, most companies are looking to partner with startups to find solutions to their problems. So that's where our corporates step in. And the last piece on the star is what I'm going to talk in the end. That's the initiative that we're going to set up. So in the process, as we set up this high quality startup ecosystem, we have created 3 or 4 initiatives. The first one is Sunil Bhatia Startup Hub. Sunil is our alumnus from the 87th batch. Brilliant journey. He was in IBM. Then later he acquired a company and then built that company from I think he acquired it in 2010. He sold it for $1 billion. Hugely successful, probably one of the unicorn stories of our own very unicorn story. And he came back and said, how can I help? How can I make SPGen better? And one of the ideas we pitched is entrepreneurship and startup. He was very attached to that. He was very passionate. He's contributed 10 crores to help us build this over the next 5-8 years. What Sunil Bhatia Startup Hub really does is his endowment allows us to encourage grassroots level entrepreneurship. So every year we do a series of events, the simplest of which being a pitchathon, where we partner with various institutions. We call up the brilliant startup ideas and say, come pitch to us. If you like it, we will reward you, recognize you, and those of you who fall in the second category, we will pick you up into our accelerator programs to help you be better. That's a simple thing that we do there. The event that I talked about on Thursday, I was in a jury on a pitchathon where we found some amazing ideas coming up. So we do about 12 to 15 of these pitchathon. Again, if any of you have interest to see in startup, just drop me a line of mail. This is a great point. We do so many events around the country. We always need a fresh perspective, a fresh jury member to come and take a call of it. This is something, the most simplest thing that you can be part of. Building on the pitchathon, we do boot camps, which are 2-week affairs where we give a little bit more handholding to the startups, talking about how to understand your product market fit, or how to look at a term sheet and stuff like that. Then we do roundtable mixers, which is really a networking forum where we invite as many subject matter experts as possible. You sit across the table and then you connect with each other and share your thoughts. Because at the end of the day, all of what I'm talking about is about knowing each other and how do you connect the dots. And the other part, so that's the Sunil Bhatia Startup Hub. So that's where we hunt and that's where we find the startups. As I said, identifying startup is my first job. So I use the Sunil Bhatia Startup Hub endowment that Sunil has given to spread wings around the country to find the best startups. Once you've identified them, and we need about 50 high quality startups, what do we do about them? That's when the accelerators step in. We have 2 accelerators today, one in the sustainability space that we call Earth Lab, and the other in the responsible finance space, which we call it Finovate. Both these accelerators do a simple job. It's a 5-month program. We spend almost 100 to 150 hours per startup in those 5 months. And I'll share you some of the testimonials. It's transformational when an institution decides to give that kind of a commitment purely without anything expected in return. Nobody in this country has given that kind of a singular commitment at an entity level without expecting returns. Because every single incubator takes 2% equity bare minimum. And more often than not, I've had founders complaining that I've not got my value for the incubator. Here we've had the reverse story. I've had founders in the accelerator come back and say, can I continue? Why didn't you take equity in my system? And I've had to say, no, so sorry, because that's not the model we follow, right? So that's what happens in the accelerator. And the corporate partners, they again run joint programs with us. For example, next week we are launching a program with Yes Bank and RBI Innovation Hub. It's a fintech accelerator program for Yes Bank's requirement. So all of this helps us in identifying startups and adding value. Now, to what extent, right? This piece is what justifies what I do here, the value I give to the people on the left. Students, as I've said in the beginning, the generation that is walking in today want to also start thinking and operating like a founder. A large portion wants to do that. Many of them are going into jobs which empowers them to do that. So by having this high quality ecosystem, the students are able to get the direct first-hand exposure of what it is to be a startup, right? And I'm giving them access of startups from 0 all the way to 10, right? So they are part of my AdMap teams. Every event that we do, there is a 25-member student delegate option. We keep open. They can participate. It's up to them how they want to learn. For the faculty, this gives exposure on and in their research endeavors because we don't take any equity from them, the startups are more than happy to collaborate with us. For alumni, this is a 2-way street, right? Like I've said, we have launched a EIR program, which I'll talk a minute about. So alumni-led startup can participate in the accelerator, be part of the pitchathon. Every event that we run, I've on an average seen 10 to 15% to be our alumni startups. And I really didn't know there were so many SPGen alumni actually pursuing entrepreneurship till we actually started doing these. Right. And vice versa, alumni can also be mentors, as I've said, jury on any of the events. There are plenty of events to just raise your hand up and say, and we'll figure a way how you best can contribute in a way that is meaningful to yourself and the person who's connecting with you. And of course, as we advance wise innovation, as Varun said, innovation that creates a positive impact on society and planet. And that is going to be the hallmark, which in 15 years' time, when we look back, people will all remember as SPGen be a school with a difference. When I walked in, Emil Shrikant was still there. The reason I chose SPGen, well, didn't have a really, honestly, lot of options at that point. It was still the best time school for me. But SPGen still came across as a school with a difference. And when I look back later also, always in the Standard Chartered, I could identify an SPGen alum slightly different. There was a certain sense of social consciousness which was different. And I don't know if you all feel this way. I felt always. I could never really understand why they made us do DOCC at that point. I couldn't put my hand on and saying DOCC gave me this benefit or not. But somewhere it makes you richer. There were a bunch of my batchmates who were converted, into social agenda. Some of them were middle. I was in the bottom quadrant. I really saying that, okay, it's part of the course credit, let me do it. But it does build a social consciousness and ethos and values and integrity, which otherwise, I don't know how I would have kind of got it, right? That is built, that reputation is built. Wise innovation is going to be the next pillar. In 10 years' time, when I look back, I would like SPGen to be known as a school with a difference. Just like, for example, Stern for finance in New York, SPGen can be more than finance in Bombay, right? So as we build, that's a society contribution. Startup Lab is a project that we're starting. So if you are in touch with entrepreneurs, if you have startups yourself, as I said, one of the way we want to give contribution to our students is to get them deeply exposed to the startup ecosystem. So every startup who come into our accelerator, we ask and want to pair it with a student in the form of a live project. So a student can work for 3 months with a startup. So a couple of beautiful things emerge in the process. Number one, most of the startups are really poor in pitching. Not because of the pitching skills alone, they simply don't have the resources or the infrastructure to do a good competition analysis. As simple as that. Something very simple. As a startup founder, you're expected to do walk in and say, this is what I am, this is whose problem I'm solving, these are the alternate options that my customer has. Now I'm special because. That's all what a startup pitch is. But trust me, that pitch I don't get more often on. Our students can do a brilliant job at scoping it out because we've got access to some of the most expensive startup databases, which many of the founders don't simply have. Right? Building on that, each of the student I would expect to spend some time with the founder, map their journey, understand the trials and the tribulations that every founder goes through. Because it's a hard journey. So that they can, when they sit at the end of their second year for placement, when we offer the EIR program, which many of you would have seen from the alumni office, right? They have the choice to say no to a placement job and give a shot at entrepreneurship, right? And if it fails, we'll catch them in the placement in after 2 years, right? And many of you alumni, if you want, this is the shot, to probably come join us and build a startup. So the EIR program is selfishly targeted at our students and alumni for the reasons I've outlined before, but it's still open to almost anyone to apply. And each of the program, we are looking to back about 10 to 20 lakhs of financial support behind the startups to help build it. So the Startup Lab, the EIR program, and there is an entrepreneurship minor course which was never there in my time. We've launched it this year in the PGDM second year, and hopefully we'll expand it. At WiseTech, a lot of resources are used to run that. So this in totality is what we have attempted to create in the last 12 months of what I call as WiseTech. And just to kind of wrap up, if you look at it, we are at the core a knowledge hub, which is our newsletter. In case if you haven't seen Quest as a newsletter, I would really urge you guys to look at it. It's very simply through a sustainability lens. Everybody is looking at, everything is, great. We want to look and say what's missing. We want to add a little bit of critical thinking to the whole space. For example, when we talk about energy drinks, which was our first edition, everybody has been focused on how Sting did a great job at taking market share away from Red Bull and how it's a great story and all of that. Nobody's looking at the health issues that the generation, the customers face it. So Quest is our newsletter. It comes out once every month. TASIC is a conference that we're organizing in February, where we're getting some of the best brains to talk about technology's impact on society. We are taking some of the accelerator internationally. We are in conversation with the Center for Finance at Cornell, for example, to take our FinTech Accelerator global program. Nobody again in India has ever attempted to run a global startup accelerator program. We want to try that. And then faculty research. So there is a knowledge hub and there is a practice hub to WiseTech. And just to kind of wrap up, what have we created? We've had about 500 plus startup applications, about 40 plus startup. 5 million has been the funds raised by the startups. I mean, that number is a little old. It'll be closer to 7 million fundraise have happened in the startups. These are our corporate partners. They are the investors, alumni. Rakesh, Mrinal, Sujit, Veda, all of them have been our alumni. We did a program in AI and FinTech, and that's some of the testimonials of the people that have been, who's gone through the ecosystem or partnered with us. So, in a nutshell, I'm hugely passionate about this as an alumni to be here and have an opportunity to build it. I have been honored and I'm thankful to all the alumni who've supported me in this venture, generously giving their time to help build this because all of us work with the common goal of how to make SPJMR different, how to create an asset for SPJMR that outlives us, how to create an SPJMR that in 20 years somebody looks back and says that wise innovation, wise tech, DOCC makes SPJM the only socially conscious, responsible, and innovative school which creates true entrepreneurs. That is a positioning point which is very hard to take because none of these can be built overnight. And happy to have your support in any of these directions. And the only thing that I didn't talk about is the SP Angels. This is an idea I'm sharing with you. It's completely work in progress. I don't know which direction we'll go in this. But like I said, I'm speaking here as an alumni, not really as a position holder. So what the hell I'll share with you. As we built this ecosystem and as we got all those great investors, coming, not everyone was willing to fund the check because the harsh reality is it's incredibly hard to raise funds as a founder. So either you will get a term sheet which really makes it hard to raise funds, or you have to dilute and put too many conditions, or you will just not get it. Now, the people who support at this stage are the right people who are willing to take a big boy call. And what do I mean by a big boy call? You look at a founder and you look at an institution that has referred the founder to you. And if you like the founder, give that 15, 20, 25 lakh check. Don't put too many strings around it and trust that this guy will grow. Yes, the chances of him failing is very high. As an investor, the only thing you can do is get a skill to identify the right founders, look at what institution is coming from, and build a portfolio of maybe 20, 30, 40 investments so that the 2 or 3 that are successful will cover up for the losses. This is the smartest way to invest in the angel space. And what we really need, as we realized, is not VC firms, we need angels. So like people like Sunil, there is another alumni we've spoken to, he's built India Shelter Finance, it's a 6,000 crore company. Anil Mehta, for example, is our alumni. So somewhere during the course of this year, we want to put something called as the SP Angel Network, SPJMR Angel Network, right? We will start with that. And I'm not saying it has to be 100% our alumni, it has to be for our alumni, for students, nothing. It will be run as a professional fund. We will start with that and we'll see where it goes. I have a model of IMA Ventures. They have set up something called as a Bharat Innovation Fund, which is the second or third fund. We don't have it. And if we have a fund like that, it will allow us to, multi-friends, attract high-quality startup, support some of the endeavors better, and of course, it becomes a self-funding initiative which can outlist any of us sitting here. So I just wanted to share this thought with you. Somewhere in the course of 2025, we will reach out to you if any of you would like to deploy. And that, like Varun said in the beginning, if that's a cause you want to be part of, I would say let's start looking at a cause. You want to contribute and be an investor, happy to have you on board. You want to go beyond and be part of creating that ecosystem, happy to have you on there as well. So that's in short as Wise Tech. And I'm a stone's throw away. You can drop me an email. More than happy to jump on a Gmeet call. That's my favorite position. It saves time so everybody is efficient, and I can walk you through in greater detail. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mohan, for that insightful session. It's incredible to see how SPJMR alumni continue to create a positive impact in the world and within the institution. Now let's shift the focus to Abhyudaya, one of the impactful initiatives by SPJMR that continues to touch lives. Abhyudaya is more than just an initiative, it's a movement of mentorship, education, and community upliftment, showing SPJMR's commitment to creating a brighter and equitable future. Abhyudaya program has transformed the lives of nearly 1,000 underprivileged yet gifted children, empowering them to shine as our sitaras, the true stars of change. Let's now welcome Mrs. Aarti Nagraj to hear more about this initiative.
Okay, good afternoon. Okay, so how many of you here had a sitara when you were a student? Wonderful. Are you still in touch with your sitara? No? Contact me. I'll get you in touch with them. Okay? So, for those of you who didn't have a sitara, you all were here probably before 2008. Oh, thank you. Batch 1. Correct. PGPM started it. PGDM took it over. Yes. Thank you for that little bit of history. So yes, today we have PGDM that does this program, and I'll just show you this video, and it shows the mentoring side of the program, and then I'll talk to you about the other side of the program. Abhyuday is an NGO that is part of the SPJMR campus. We run mentoring and enrichment programs for underprivileged children from the K West ward, which is the Andheri, Jogeshwari, Juhu area, which is around in a 5-kilometer radius of the campus. So the way we do the mentoring program is through the PGDM students, the first year students. It's a 4-credit course, which is compulsory, and it is part of their non-classroom learning experience that they get mapped with our children. Our children we call sitaras, which means star.
Mentoring Fatima has taught me that learning is so much more than just going through your subjects. It's so much more about experiencing and learning from each other's experiences.
My name is Sanis. मेरे को नेवी में जाना है मेरे को नेवी ऑफिसर बनना है उसके लिए गाइडेंस चाहिए होता है मतलब एक्सपीरियंस लोग चाहिए होते हैं मेरे मेंटर बहुत फ्री है मतलब जो भी चीज़ जो वो कर लेगी मतलब एनी टाइम फिर अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम आता है तो मेरे मेंटर सब समझाते थे प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाते हैं
55% of our sitaras are girls, and we're very proud of that. It's not just the sitaras, it's the community that you're impacting. And it really makes you feel happy at the end of the day, but it has to come from the heart. So, as I said, this is the mentoring side of the program, and SPJMR supports us in that. We get the facilities, we get the students. SPJMR supports our staff, which is we have a lean team of 8 + 1, 9 of us who manage all this work. We're not expanding. We try to do this work from the heart. Everybody is here. They come from various backgrounds. Some have moved within SPJMR's family into the Abhyuday program to work. One of them is actually the sister of a sitara who we have employed. Two of them have been with Abhyuday right since the beginning. So it's a really committed team that gets this work done. So these are some of the numbers, our impact numbers. So far, 948 sitaras and counting. This is from 2008 all the way up right now to 2024. We have alumni that are very accomplished. I'll share a little bit about that. The numbers that are going into degree colleges is increasing every year. We try to keep these children until they're employed. We make sure they're employed. Even the batches 1 through 8, even we keep track of them. We make sure 3 of them are actually employed at SPJMR. They're part of the professionals at SPJMR, one in the HR, one in the PGDM program office, and one in the PGDM online program office. And in fact, one, he's a student, and he's an interning in Manoj's entrepreneurship program in the Vice Tech. So he's finishing his BSc at Bhavans in statistics, and he's in his final year. So he applied for the internship, and he's doing his internship there. And we have one who's also a research associate. So we're really trying to include them back into the family as well as other employment. So these are the schools. This is the area we serve. They go to colleges all over the country. It's not just restricted to Bombay or Maharashtra. And here's where they're working. These, you'll see all the big names. They're doing really well. Just yesterday, one of the sitaras from batch 8 told me he's going to start a new job with Wipro in the back office IT here in Bombay. He's going to just do data entry and such, but he's so proud. He did the whole thing by himself. He's there. And he comes and helps us in the after school program as well. So 23rd of December is when he starts at Wipro. So we try to make sure that the right fit for each sitara. And how are we doing this in the after school program? They come to us in the afternoon from 2:30 to 5:30, Monday to Friday. It used to be a 1-day-a-week program, which is on Sundays only, because that was the only day they were available and things and facilities and such. We have recently renovated the Abhyuday Center, so we are able to have these sessions during the week. So they come after school, and they get enrichment activities. What are enrichment activities? We focus a lot on physical and emotional well-being. Children come from very stressed backgrounds. They don't have space to play, so we do a lot of sports. We work on their social emotional skills. We focus a lot on nutrition. During the week, we give them an afternoon snack. It's a wholesome snack. During summer and winter camp, we give them breakfast and lunch. And last year's summer camp, we had 95% attendance for our 25-day camp, because we did sports in the morning, we gave them a nutritious breakfast, we gave them a nutritious lunch, and a whole range of activities that they truly thrived in. As Dean Sir said, we are not wasting our resources on the campus. We have really embraced the whole design thinking and innovation space this year. We started with our sitaras. They really, trying to help them look at problems that are within their community or within their school, and build prototypes and understand how the 3D printer works, and doing a little bit of scratch programming and CAD and things like that. Whatever works for them at their level. And then the most important thing of teamwork and putting the learning into their hands. That is what we're really trying to get that. And we came up with some really good ideas. Last year, we had a team that went to the Solve for Society challenge that was organized by the Amazon Future Engineers program. And they actually made it to the finals. And they were trying to build a program for children who are hard of hearing. So it was, how did the sign language translate into text for them? So they built a prototype, and they used the design thinking lab to do that. We also talked about community engagement. Now we're taking this innovation work and building it out into the 60, 70 schools that we serve, because we only get 360 sitaras. What about the thousands of other children and teachers who need this kind of training and exposure? So we have worked with 10 schools this year, and we hope to go to more in the next few years. And we are doing almost 15 to 18 hours of classroom programming for them, classroom work, teaching, going into their schools or bringing the schools to us, because the BMC schools don't allow outside people to go. So we bring the children to our campus, to our design thinking lab, and do the whole design thinking process. We're training the teachers. and it has made a huge impact. At the end of their sessions, they were like, when is the next session? So we are trying to figure out how to do the 10 plus more next year and hopefully reach all 70 schools in the next 4 years. So that's our community work. Some of our partners, we are really working with. Apnale is an organization here that works with the community, empowering youth to solve problems within their community. Arpan does training with our children and parents on child sexual abuse. Kalakriti does our summer art and craft program with us. Artscape does life skills and stress management and anger management through expressive therapy. And Curiosity Gym is our partner for all the innovation and design thinking work. Vocational programs. Not all of our sitaras can go into a professional degree or a degree college. Some go into vocational. So we've partnered with these organizations that are putting our sitaras through short, either 3-month or 1-year programs, and then placing them in various industries, be it banking, be it IT, and Tech Mahindra is focused mainly on the medical industry. So this is a new program we've started this year. Open Grad is a new initiative started by someone from IIM Bangalore, providing JE and NEET and CAT test prep. So they have mentors and they do test prep. So this 4 things I will say is our first batch. We don't have results on that yet, but hopefully with Magic Bus, we actually just had 4 students just finish. They'll be doing their exam next week and then they'll get placed. So it's a 3-month Microsoft, so AWS certification, and then they will get placed. And we have scholarship fund also, we partner with them. These are for students after 10th standard. They get these scholarships. They have to have a certain percentage in their board exams in 10th, plus application, interview, all of that. So all of those skills we are working on with our sitaras to grow and enrich. Most of our sitaras, they all come from regional language schools. So we do a lot of work on English, spoken English, written English, and public speaking, and foundational maths and science as well. So here comes the funding part. As I said, SPGMR provides our team salaries as well as the infrastructure and facilities. But what about all these after-school enrichment? We've been fortunate to get this one CSR funding this is our second of the 3rd year. So we have 1 more year with the CSR partner. The budget was much less, so that's why they have a big percentage of the pie. But coming up next year, our budget is definitely increasing because we have more activities as well as more students. Because earlier only the 7th, 8th, and 9th has increased because of the increased number of PGDM students. We went from 240 to 360 in 1 year. So we have to make up for that. So we are serving almost 250 children every day. And we went from a 1-day-a-week to a 5-day-a-week program. And yes, we have alumni, but a very small percentage that donates. As I said, all the funds that get donated go directly to the programming for the sitaras. It has impact on the sitaras. No overhead, no administrative costs. None of that gets included in, and you get 100% tax benefit. And again, it's under the aegis of Bharati Vidya Bhavan. So it's registered under Bharati Vidya Bhavan. So, and we have all the FCRA, all the certificates that are required for functioning. So what are we doing? The path ahead, as I said, we are scaling into all 70 schools with the innovation work. The funding we've increased is because of the number of expansion of services. And, we really like to secure long-term funding so that we can focus on the work rather than trying to raise funds every year. That's sort of really where we are looking at. community work, we are working with Apnalay, as I said, working in the community for that. We've also partnered with the FMB Entrepreneurship Program. We have 7 sitaras who are from the senior batches, and they have their own small businesses and they are looking to grow. So again, we're using our resources at SP to build out them. So it's a program called Sashat, and we are making them from being self-employed to becoming an employer. We just started this program last week, so 7 of them are in this program learning from the faculty at SP, and hopefully in 3 months, 4 months, we will see the output of that. And we're trying to. We have some challenges. We have the changes in the whole urban poverty ecosystem here. The settlements are being raised to the ground because of the redevelopment. What happens then? So is it still safe for our students, our PGDM students, to go and visit? So we're constantly thinking about how do we continue the vision of this program without, but at the same time having to deal with the local challenges over time. So, how can you all help? I always say we have the 3 T's. You can give your time, you can give your talent, or you can give your treasure. Okay, you can volunteer your services if you're in town, or if you want to be, during our summer program, we always do a lot of career counseling, expose our sitaras to different careers, because, for them it is doctor, engineer, lawyer, are the only things that happen. But what does an engineer do? What does a software engineer do? What do you do at wherever you are? What do you do in a bank? They don't realize that IT is also in a bank. So just exposing them to a lot of things. Talent, if you want to come and teach, if you want to have a certain skill, please do come and let us know. And the last is also the treasure. As I said, we'd really like to have some ongoing funding that is secured for us so that we can focus on the work and the programming for the sitaras. So just like, Manoj talked about the SP Angels, I've been given the challenge of saying, okay, how many alumni are willing to be in the SP donor circle and give about 10,000 rupees a year on an annual basis. Okay? If you wish to do that, let me know. We'll be outside. You can sign up and we'll tell you how. It's really easy. It really helps. It really, the whole service part of what the dean said would really make an impact. Welcome to visit anytime. Sorry, today it's, we don't have, Saturday is the only day we don't have sitaras on the campus. It's the day off, but all other days we do. Sundays we have our 6th standard program, which is the training ground. So you all are welcome to visit at any time. And I'm happy to answer any questions for you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? Yeah, I know. I can see how's everybody doing. It's fine. So, now it's about to change. So, today's performer is someone who has walked the same halls as us, sat in the same classrooms, and probably stood in the same long canteen queues. Though they somehow turned all of that into comedy gold. Ankur is proof, well, that you can't always skip lectures, you can skip to the good part of life. We all know that no one comes to these events for the lunch. So let's get to the real highlight of the evening. The hilariously talented Ankur, who's here to deliver more punchlines than the placement committee delivers pre-placement talks.
Round of applause to Nimai, guys. Round of applause, please. Brilliant. ठीक है, hi. I think एक तो इतनी serious sessions हो चुके हैं ना. I think we just need to probably wake up. So can we have a round of applause? Louder, 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 louder for yourselves, guys. Like awesome, yaar. I think I just love being here. Yaar. SP Jain is a great institution, and you guys are like really, really cool people, yaar. And I'm sure that you are proud of yourselves as well. The achievers, the intellectuals, the people who couldn't make to the IIMs, you know, something like that. नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं यार. I really like the campus यार. But I got to know a lot of people have come from like different parts of the country, right? Give me a cheer. Who are like from outside? कोई बाहर से आया कोई यहाँ पे? Give me loud cheer. हाथ नहीं. Classroom नहीं है. Yes. Oh, awesome. People who are outside from the country, like as in बाहर US से भी कोई आया है? USA? Oh, USA आप हो? Loud cheer यार. For these people यार. Spending money to come back. इतना डॉलर में इतना कमा रहे हैं ना ये लोग. USA सर आप भी हो शायद, right? हाँ, आप ही ने बुलाया होगा इनको, right? You spent like 35 years over there, right? That's awesome, yeah. And I think currently the dean or the CEO, somewhere in between, it's all rolled into one. Of course, see, that's like that's what a CEO speaks. Nice, yeah, nice. But मुझे ना campus आके बहुत अच्छा लगा. I think I came to relive my experiences, but I saw a different campus altogether. New experience है. ये हमारे पैसों से ही बन रहा है ये रिक्रिएशन सेंटर. ये लोग एंजॉय करेंगे, हैं? पैसे हम लोगों ने दिए हैं. और डीन सर ने तो कहा भी ना कि यार देखो एल्यूमनाई का ही काम है ये सब एल्यूमनाई काम है. वो यही कह रहे थे, वो रेटिंग्स तो आ जाती हैं लेकिन ये जो रिक्रिएशन सेंटर्स बन रहे हैं, हाँ नहीं बढ़िया यार. बट आई एम गुड टू इट्स ऑलवेज गुड टू सी यार कि लाइक वी एज अ कॉलेज आर प्रोग्रेसिंग सो मच. डीन सर वाज टेलिंग कि we are like FT #1 ranking, right? So that's awesome, yaar. We have triple crown ratings, yaar. That's again awesome. And the most important part, yaar, I'm not sure कितने लोगों को पता है, लेकिन यार अब 12 बजे का टाइम लिमिट हट गया. अब कैंपस में आप कभी भी आ जा सकते हो. हमारे कैंपस को 40 साल लग गए ये समझने में कि अगर गलत काम करना है तो वो टाइम बाउंड नहीं होता. बढ़िया यार. नहीं आई थिंक यू आर ब्रिंगिंग सम रियली गुड चेंज. वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट चेंज आई फाउंड वाज आई गॉट टू नो वाज कि अब इंटर हॉस्टल मूवमेंट भी होता है दोस्तों. अब लड़कियां लड़कों के हॉस्टल में जा सकती हैं. आई हर्ड दिस ऑन द कैंपस. दिस इज नॉट माई जोक. आई एम टेलिंग यू. सर आई एम अ पॉटरहेड्स. हैरी पॉटर समझते हो सब लोग ना, राइट? हाँ. मुझे किसी ने बताया यार कैंपस में कि यार नागराज ने आकर के नाग शक्ति के द्वार खोल दिया भाई. ब्रिलियंट मूव. आई थिंक इट्स अ ब्रिलियंट मूव. क्योंकि क्या है ना कि इट इज ओनली वन वे रूट. लड़कियां ही जाती हैं उस नाग शक्ति के द्वार में और डिस्गस्ट होकर के लौटती हैं. लड़कों को नहीं अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है ये सब. दैट्स गुड यार. बट ठीक है. आई थिंक द क्राउड इज प्रीटी फुल. मेरे एंगल से जो दिख रहा है ये पूरा लेफ्ट पूरा खाली पड़ा हुआ है. वी आर ग्रोइंग इनटू अ राइट विंग इकोनॉमी. ही सेड देयर इज एन अमेरिकन यार. मतलब पूरा वही कैपिटलिज्म पूरा ला रहे हैं. पता लगा मेरे को 25 लाख की तो फीस कर दी है सर आपने. नहीं अच्छा है यार, अच्छा है. मैं कहता सर और लूटो आप लोगों को. ये जो बाहर जा करके ये जो बना रहे हैं ना. वी हैव दिस वी yesterday had awards. People who attended the awards. कोई था? आपको अवार्ड मिला सर? अच्छा, कोई था ऐसा जिसको अवार्ड मिला और आज है यहाँ पे? Yes? You? Okay, how much did you get it for? Sorry. What? This is not IFA guys, come on, this is not IFA. हाँ. हाँ नहीं, what did you get it for वैसे? अच्छा, corporate excellence. अच्छा. That's good यार. See, people are doing pretty good. इनसे पैसा लो ना सर आप. जो कॉर्पोरेट में जो सोशल एक्सेलेंस है वो छोड़ दो, लेकिन कॉर्पोरेट वाले से तो पैसे लूटो यार. वो कह रहे कर रहे हैं, मुझे पता है. नहीं अच्छा है यार, अच्छा है. एंड वेयर आर लाइक अदर पीपल फ्रॉम. आई एम अनेबल टू सी इट. सो सबसे पुराने बैच से कौन है यहाँ पे? यू आर देयर, द वन विद द गुची कैप. सबसे आप ही ने ज़्यादा पैसा कमाया है म्यूचुअल फंड में पैसा लगा करके. हैं? व्हाट बैच आर यू फ्रॉम सर? 83. नहीं वो तो मतलब मिल ही जाता होगा ना, वैसे मुझे देने क्या. एंड हु इज द यंगेस्ट ओवर हियर, लाइक रीसेंट पास आउट्स में से लास्ट ईयर के हैं? 24 ग्रेजुएट्स. अच्छा, सबसे पीछे बैठे, हाँ ये सही है यार. इनको पता है आगे बैठे कुछ नहीं होना भाई. ठीक है, जितना डीसीपी करना था वो कर लिया हमने. देयर वाज दिस पर्सन अगेन, वो अभी आए थे, वो शेषय्यर सर का माइक उन्होंने ठीक किया था यहाँ पे आकर के. वो कहाँ गए? इज ही देयर और हैज ही लेफ्ट? ही हैज लेफ्ट ना. उन्होंने नंबर बनाया और चले गए वो अपने. भाई वो एलुमनाई कमेटी का है भी नहीं बंदा. मैं देख रहा हूँ कहाँ से आया है ये बंदा. वो आकर के यहाँ पे माइक पकड़े बैठा हुआ है ऐसा. मस्त है यार, मस्त है. मैं बता दूं यार. अच्छा, और वैसे बाकी लाइक बाकी लाइक कौन कौन से कोर्सेस हैं यहाँ पे? लाइक पीजी, ओके, पीजीडीएम, गिव मी अ लाउड चीयर. लाउड चीयर. पीजीपीएम और कौन से? पीजीएमपी. हाँ ये देखो, जीएमपी. आप जीएमपी से हो? अच्छा मैं पूछ लूँ. अच्छा हाँ ये सही है. एक क्यू मास्टर रखता हूँ मैं हमेशा अपने साथ. ये पीजीएमपी वालों को अलग खाना क्यों मिल रहा है सर? क्या फायदा ज्यादा फीस पे करके आपको वृंदावन का ही खाना खाना है तो? What's the point, guys? I'll tell you something about myself before I'll just like talk to random people somewhere in the middle. If you guys want to talk, it's completely fine. नहीं तो मुझे तो पैसे मिल चुके हैं अपने. ठीक है, मैं तो चला जाऊंगा इसके बाद. My name is अंकुर निगम. ठीक है, और जब भी मैं बताता हूँ लोगों को, कई लोग ये मान लेते मेरे बड़े भाई का नाम होगा सोनू निगम, और कुछ लोग तो ये भी मान लेते कि मेरे बड़े बाप का नाम होगा दिल्ली नगर निगम. बट ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. सी, आई एम अ वेरी एवरेज काइंड ऑफ अ पर्सन. आई टेल यू, बहुत एवरेज. लाइक माई लुक्स, माई हाइट, माई वेट, माई पैकेज, बहुत कुछ एवरेज है, सब कुछ. इनफैक्ट आई एम सो एवरेज, माई फ्रेंड्स दे कॉल मी मीन. हाँ, मैं ऑडियंस का वो एक चेक कर लेता हूँ कि क्या है आज, किस मूड से आया है. ठीक है, फिर उसके बाद बताता हूँ मैं. बट यू नो, नॉट एवरीथिंग इज एवरेज अबाउट मी. देयर इज वन थिंग दैट इज नॉट एवरेज अबाउट मी. ठीक है, एंड आई एम समथिंग दैट इज लाइक रियली देयर, एंड दैट इज कि मैं यूपी से हूँ. है? सॉरी, नहीं आप बताओ यार. अच्छा, देयर और हेयर का. अच्छा, आपको अवार्ड मिला था? ये जो हमारा कॉन्फिडेंस बूस्ट होता है ना भाई, एसपी जैन में मैंने देखा यार कि कॉन्फिडेंस अलग लेवल बूस्टेड ही रहता है. मैं मजाक नहीं कर रहा. आप एसपी जैन के लोगों से बात करो, उनके कॉन्फिडेंस अलग अलग. देखा, देयर हेयर कोई जरूरत थी नहीं. ये हमारे डीएनए में यार, मैं मजाक नहीं कर रहा. डीएनए में हम पूरी दुनिया ने कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ा है हमारा, हमको दे ही रही है दुनिया. हम पूरी दुनिया को अपने लोगों से मिडिल फिंगर दिखा रहे हैं. क्या जरूरत है इस सब चीज की? हमारा कॉन्फिडेंस इतना हाई रहता है यार. वो भाई तालाब को हम लेक बुलाते हैं. लेक बुला रहे हैं उसको यार. अच्छा, यहाँ पे आप रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हो क्या? वो वीडियो रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हो. देखो, मैं बहुत इनसिक्योर बंदा हूँ. ठीक है, मुझे ऐसे कोई दिक्कत नहीं, आप रिकॉर्ड कर लो. ठीक है, मुझे दिक्कत होगी रात को 2 बजे अगर मेरे दिमाग में थॉट आया कि एक रैंडम अंकल रात को 2 बजे अपने मोबाइल में मेरा वीडियो देख रहे हैं. रैंडम अंकल क्या नाम है आपका? मुझे पता होना चाहिए ना कि कौन सा अंकल देख रहे हैं. हाँ, संदीप. एंड संदीप, व्हाट डू यू डू? ये वो होंगे, मैं बता रहा हूँ. संदीप, लेट मी गेस, आर यू फ्रॉम पीजीडीएम? नहीं.
क्यों ऐसा क्यों गेस किया? तुम बताओ.
मैं बता रहा हूँ भाई, एसपी का कॉन्फिडेंस अलग लेवल रहता है. मैं बहुत कॉलेज में परफॉर्म किया हूँ, ऐसा कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं देखा मैंने. मैं बताता हूँ क्यों. बिकॉज क्या? देखो सर, ऐसा है, ये कैंपस जो है पूरा वेजिटेरियन कैंपस है. ठीक है, ये राज कुंद्रा, उल्लू, ये सब कुछ मत करो यहाँ पे. ठीक है, अब तो आपसी बात, आपका नाम क्या? और सर आप क्या करते हो कपिल देव जी? वो वीडियोस बनाते हैं, आप मेल भेजते हो, बहुत सही भाई, पूरी नेटवर्क चेंज चल लिया भाई यहाँ पे। ये राज कुंद्रा के ही मेल भेज रहे हो क्या आप? हैं? वो पुलिस ने रेड बढ़ी, आपने वहीं पे डिलीट कर दिए सारे मेल्स। हाँ, आधे लोगों को पता भी नहीं है राज कुंद्रा का कॉन्टेस्ट पता है यहाँ पे किसी को? नहीं पता ना आपको? हाँ, देखो जैसे उसने काम करे हैं ना भाई हो सकता है हो नहीं। हाँ कपिल जी, आप क्या करते हो? मेल्स तो भेजते हो, वो तो सभी कर रहे हैं, बट आप कहाँ मेल भेजते हो? किसको मेल भेज रहे हो आप? हाँ, अच्छा, मोटरसाइकिल सेल्स। तो बजाज का सही सेल चल रहा है? बढ़िया चल रहा है। फिर आपको आने की यहाँ पे क्या जरूरत पड़ गई मुझसे? सब यहाँ पे नेटवर्किंग के लिए आते हैं ठीक है मुझे मत बताओ सर मैं पहले आ चुका हूँ नेटवर्किंग के, मुझे तो नहीं मिली जॉब नहीं, अच्छा है यार, अच्छा है। बट बजाज इज डूइंग फाइन ना वैसे तो अभी तो, है ना? अभी दैट्स गुड यार। एनीवन एल्स फ्रॉम बजाज? यहाँ पे और कोई है? बजाज, टीवीएस, मारुति, अशोक लेलैंड, आयशर वाले, ये सब हैं यहाँ पे? कोई हाथ ही नहीं उठाता भाई, ये सब इनको पता है अपने बारे में यार नहीं, चलो ठीक है। क्या महिंद्रा बढ़िया है, मुझे पता है किसी को माइक चाहिए क्या नहीं, ठीक है, मैं ऐसे ही मजाक करता रहूँगा, बीच बीच में बात कर लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है मुझे यार। मेरा तो खैर क्या, मेरा पेमेंट हो चुका है अपन चिल है। मैं तो यहाँ पे आता हूँ, देखो मैं स्टैंड अप करता हूँ फॉर अ वेरी सिंपल रीज़न कि मुझे स्टैंड अप लगती है एक थेरेपी, जहाँ मैं अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स बता रहा हूँ बस, और मुझे उस चीज़ के पैसे भी मिल रहे हैं, ठीक है? तो पहले तो मेरे को अपनी नाम की काफ़ी बड़ी प्रॉब्लम लगती थी, बट फिर मैंने रियलाइज़ किया मेरी ज़िंदगी में और एक बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है। मैंने एक दिन देखे शीशे में अपने बाल, और मैंने देखो एनालाइज किया, ऐसा नहीं है, मैंने ध्यान से सोचा, मैंने कहा क्या है मैंने देखा मेरे बालों के साथ 3 प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, 3 मेजर प्रॉब्लम्स। पहला, मेरे बाल सफ़ेद हो रहे हैं, दूसरा मेरे बाल झड़ रहे हैं, और तीसरा मेरे सफ़ेद बाल नहीं झड़ रहे हैं। मेरा सॉल्ट एंड पेपर लुक SNP, मतलब सॉल्ट एंड पेपर लुक मेरा सॉल्ट एंड पैन होता जा रहा है, स्टैंडर्ड एंड पुअर। मैं तो S&P 500 को देखता हूँ कि मेरा ही तो मार्केट नीचे नहीं जा रहा है कहीं, बट नहीं, मैं तो इसीलिए सर आपसे इंस्पायर होकर के मैंने इसीलिए अपना नाम, अपने सर का नाम रखा है अमेरिका। हाँ, बिकॉज आई रियलाइज्ड माई हेड ऑफ स्टेट इज इन अ वेरी पुअर स्टेट। ये जोक लिखा था मैंने 2016 में, और मुझे लग रहा है कि तब से चल ही रहा, अगले 4 साल भी चलेगा नहीं, जस्ट किडिंग, आई टेल यू, मैंने अपने सर का नाम रखा है अमेरिका फॉर अ वेरी सिंपल रीजन, क्योंकि देखो जो वाइट्स है ना वो तो बचे हुए हैं और मजा कर रहे हैं, ये ब्लैक्स है ना ये बेचारे गिरे जा रहे हैं। #ब्लैक हेयर मैटर यार भाई, हाँ, तो ये मैं थॉट्स में डाल देता हूँ अपने, ठीक है? तो बट कहते हैं, देखो इक्वालिटी है नहीं सोसाइटी में इन जनरल, आप देखो इक्वालिटी कहाँ ही है, और जहाँ है वहाँ मुझे चाहिए भी नहीं। आई टेल यू व्हाई। आई गो टू अ सलून एंड आई गो टू अ गुड सलून, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ आई गो अलॉन्ग विद डॉक्टर वरुण, मैं और डॉक्टर वरुण अगर साथ में एक सलून में जाएं, हम दोनों से सेम पैसे चार्ज कर रहा है वो। यार ये कैसी इक्वालिटी है कि इक्वालिटी है तो जस्टिस की धज्जियां उड़ गई। यार डॉक्टर साहब बैठेंगे वहां पे, वो हेयर स्टाइलिस्ट आएगा, यहां से काटेगा वहां से काटेगा, देखेगा क्या सही लग रहा है, मैं बैठूंगा, मैं छींक मारूंगा, इतने में कैसे चल जाएगी। आई एम नॉट किडिंग व्हेन आई टेल यू गाइस, आई लास्ट लॉन्गर इन बेड देन आई डू ऑन दैट चेयर। हाँ कपिल जी, ठीक है, थोड़ा आपकी लाइन में आया, आप कपिल जी को भी एंटरटेन कर दें, इनको राज कुंद्रा के सपने आ रहे हैं हाँ यार, मैं 400 रुपये अगर दे रहा हूँ इन बालों के, तो मुझे 80C में टैक्स रिबेट चाहिए। LIC, PPF और हेयर कट 1.5 लाख डन। मैं तो यार मैं बता ही रहा हूँ, मैं तो बड़ा इनसिक्योर रहता हूँ, मैं ऐसे लोगों को देखता हूँ ना कई बार अच्छे घने बालों के साथ, मुझे लगता है कि यार बाल जो होते हैं ना वो पर्सनैलिटी को डिफाइन करते हैं। तो मैं जैसे कभी किसी को देखता हूँ, मैं कहता यार क्या सही बंदा यार, और कितना अच्छा है इसका लुक्स, बिकॉज द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट यू नोटिस इन अ गाय इज यूजुअली देयर हेयर। और मुझे बहुत बुरा लगता है। एक दिन मुझे को इतना बुरा लगा, मैं रोने लग गया। आई एम नॉट किडिंग, लाइक आई एम नॉट मेकिंग दिस अप, बिकॉज सही में आई ब्रोक डाउन। एंड दैट्स व्हेन माय वाइफ स्पोक टू मी एंड शी गेव मी अ हग एंड शी टोल्ड मी कि अंकुर, जो पर्सनैलिटी जो होती है ना इंसान की, वो अंदर से डिफाइन होती है। ठीक है, तुम ये बाहर की सूरत मत देखो, तुम सीरत देखो। एंड दीज आर सम रियली गुड मोमेंट्स ऑफ लाइफ, जब आपको लगता है कि आपने बिल्कुल सही बंदी से शादी करी है। अगर वो वहीं चुप हो जाती तो। वो चुप नहीं हुई। अरे अंकुर, तुमको अपने तो अंदर पे काम करो ना, इतना बड़ा ईगो है तुम्हारा, ग्रजेस रखते हो, मुझे आई लव यू नहीं बोलते, घर में काम नहीं करते, मेरे घर वालों से बात नहीं। मैंने कहा अच्छा बाल ही उड़ जाए भाई। ये सब सुनता रहता हूं मैं। बड़ी प्रॉब्लम मेरी आज की नहीं है, प्रॉब्लम इट्स नॉट लाइक टुडे, मेरी बहुत साल हो गए। और सबसे पहले क्या हुआ ना कि जब मुझे प्रॉब्लम रियलाइज हुई, आई वेंट टू माई पेरेंट्स के पास नहीं जाना चाहिए आपके प्रॉब्लम्स के साथ। ठीक है, बिकॉज पेरेंट्स क्या करते हैं ना, वो आपको सबसे सस्ता सोल्यूशन दे देते हैं। आई वेंट टू माई डैड, उन्होंने कहा कि बेटा आप योगा करो। बाबा रामदेव के बाल देखो कितने अच्छे हैं। मैंने 3 महीने योगा किया, मेरे नेल्स बहुत अच्छे फाइल हो गए, फिर आंख भी मारने लग गया मैं फिर। हाँ, छोटी छोटी चीज़ें, ऐसा कुछ नहीं। मम्मी के पास गया, मम्मी ने सही कहा। मम्मी क्या है, मम्मियों के पास क्या कि मम्मी खाना खिलाने में लगी रहती हैं आपको। मम्मी कह रही कि यार वो ना ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटी ढूंढ रहती हैं छोटी छोटी, कि कैसे अपने बच्चे को ना कुछ हेल्दी खिला दें। लौकी, टिंडा, तुरई तक मैं झेल लेता। मेरी माँ ने मुझे खिलाया आंवला। आंवला खाया यहाँ पे किसी ने? हैं आंवला खाया? सर आपने खाया था, आपको तो दिख रहा है मुझे लग रहा है। हाँ आंवला नहीं यार, आंवला, कच्चा आंवला खाया यहाँ पे किसी ने? हैं 6 महीने तक रोज सुबह दोपहर शाम, भाई इतने आंवले खाए, आंवले के लिए कमी पड़ गई मार्केट में। मैं कहा आंवला बेच दो, हम अमीर हो जाएंगे। इतना आंवला था हमारे घर में। मैंने इतना आंवला खाया, मेरी सारी टेस्ट बड्स ने मिल के जौहर किया है। अब मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आता, तुम वेंडी खिलाओ चाहे वृंदावन, मैं सबको एक नजर से देखता हूं। डिस्गस्ट। मुझे नहीं समझ में आया यार। सो लेटर ऑन आई थिंक दोस्तों का एक इंपॉर्टेंट रोल रहता है। सो देयर इज अ फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन अगेन नेम वरुण, नॉट पिकिंग ऑन यू बट जस्ट लाइक, उसका भी नाम वरुण था। ही वाज जस्ट नॉट एज क्वालिफाइड एंड विद एन इंग्लिश एक्सेंट एज योर्स, बट उसका भी नाम था वरुण। वरुण पीपल आर स्मार्ट। तो उसने क्या किया, उसने कहा यार ऐसा करना, मैं तो एक सोल्यूशन बताता हूँ। उसने मेरे को ला के दिया बियर शैम्पू। बियर शैम्पू इज गुड यार। बियर शैम्पू लगाया यहाँ पे किसी ने? हैं लगाया? हाँ, उसने कहा यार एक बार में लगा लियो। मैं गया, ठीक है, अ वीकेंड लाइक दिस, मैं गया मार्केट से बियर शैम्पू लेके आया। बियर शैम्पू रखा, चखना रखा, और दोनों गटक गया। मैं यूपी से हूँ यार, मेरे को पता ही नहीं था। मेरे को लगा ऐसे ही लगाना होता है यार। ये एक हफ्ते तक मेरी हर डकार से बुलबुले निकले हैं। मैं उसको फोन किया यार, मैंने कहा वरुण यार क्या करा दिया तुझे? कह रहा है यार तुझे पता नहीं है क्या, बियर शैम्पू, बियर उसका नाम है और शैम्पू उसका गोत्र। मैं कहा गोत्र? कह रहा हाँ गोत्र। अब तू एवरेस्ट मसाले यूज करता है, तू ऊपर से कसूरी मेथी डाल रहा है ना, तू ट्रैकिंग पे तो जा नहीं रहा। मैंने कहा गुड पॉइंट। नेक्स्ट डे मैं गया वरुण के पास एक सर्फ का पैकेट लेकर के। मैंने कहा वरुण ये ले सर्फ एक्सेल, जा इस पे पिवट टेबल लगा। मस्त है यार। बट फाइनली आई वेंट फॉर दिस हेयर फॉल थेरेपी फ्रॉम दिस hugely famous doctor. Do you guys know about Dr. Batra? हैं? Give me a loud cheer if you guys know about Dr. Batra. Yes, हाँ, कई लोग जा भी चुके हैं, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है। कई 20-25 हज़ार रुपये खर्चा कर चुके हैं। बट मैं गया डॉक्टर बत्रा के पास और मुझे ट्रस्ट इशू हो गया यार। मैं बैठा हूँ यहाँ पे, डॉक्टर बत्रा बैठे हैं वहाँ पे। मैंने देखा डॉक्टर बत्रा की खुद के बाल उड़ रहे हैं, वो वहाँ बैठे ऐसे ऐसे कर रहे हैं, कह रहे योगा से होगा। मैंने कहा बाप सही बोलते हैं। बट मुझे ट्रस्ट इश्यूज यार पहले से ही थे, मुझे ऐसा ना। सो मैं यूपी में भी एक स्पेसिफिक जगह से हूँ जिसका नाम है आगरा। ठीक है, आगरा से कोई है यहाँ पे? नहीं? आप आगरा से हो? बताते नहीं है बेटा। ठीक है, ये चीज़ एकदम दिल में छुपा के रखते हैं, कोई ऐसे प्राउड की फीलिंग की बात नहीं है इसमें कोई, ठीक है, आगे के लिए मत बताना। But Agra is known for this beautiful, this man-made wonder of the world. You guys know, right? Yeah? Everyone, this is what puts us on the world map, right? पागल खाना। ये वो पागल खाना ही है। I'll tell you honestly, वो पागल खाना ही है। It is just branded as ताज महल, क्योंकि उस पागल खाने का सबसे पहला पेशेंट था शाहजहां खुद। वो बेचारा प्यार में पागल था। वरना ये बताओ कि अपनी एक्स के ऊपर इतना खर्चा कौन करता है? क्योंकि देखो मैं यूपी से हूँ, मेरा तो बहुत पॉलिटिकल इन्फ्लुएंस रहता है मेरे ऊपर, तो मुझे पता है यार कि यार मुमताज़ जो है, ठीक है, शाहजहां को छोड़ के यमराज के साथ चली गई थी। सम पीपल कॉल्ड इट डेथ, सम पीपल कॉल्ड इट घर वापसी। योगी आदित्यनाथ ने तो कहा भी था, मुमताज आज से ममता है। सम पॉलिटिकल जोक्स सो फॉर पीपल हु नो अबाउट इंडियन, सर यू नो अबाउट इंडियन पॉलिटिक्स, पता है ना? आई एम जस्ट लाइक नॉट पिकिंग, बट आई एम जस्ट आस्किंग, यू पता है ना आपको? मैं कल को मोदी जी के ऊपर जोक्स मारूं, कैंपस बंद हो जाए तो फिर आपको अपने पे नहीं आना चाहिए भाई, ठीक है? पता लगा हमारे नाग शक्ति के द्वार बंद हो गए। नहीं यार, ये बढ़िया यार। बट मैं ना इसीलिए, मैं तो यार देखो, मैं तो यूपी में पला बड़ा हूँ, ताजमहल वगैरह देखा है मैंने। मैं हमेशा से एक बॉलीवुड बफ रहा हूँ यार मैं, ठीक है? मैंने बहुत पिक्चरें देखी है, मैं बहुत जिया हूँ पिक्चरें में। तो मुझे तो मुंबई आना ही था, बस मुझे एक जरिया ढूंढना था, और वो जरिया मुझे मिला K3G में। कभी खुशी कभी गम देखी आप लोगों ने मूवी? है, सभी ने देखी है ना, राइट? तो वो उसने मेरी लाइफ डिफाइन करी यार उस पिक्चर ने। आई टेल यू हाउ, बिकॉज उस पिक्चर ने ही मेरे को मोटिवेट किया MBA करने के लिए। मैं MBA के लिए इतना मोटिवेट था कि उसके लिए मैंने इंजीनियरिंग करी है भाई। मुझे पता था कि यार द्वार यहीं से खुलते हैं। बट आई टेल यू MBA क्यों किया मैंने K3G को देख करके। उसमें ना ऐसे 3 एक्टर्स हैं उसमें, ठीक है? बड़ा वाला अमिताभ बच्चन, वो उसने भाई कुछ नहीं किया, उसने वो FMB का बंदा था भाई, वो बाप का बिजनेस चला रहा है वो, उसने कुछ नहीं किया। छोटा वाला जो था उसके तो कुछ भी नहीं है, वो बचपन में खाता था और बड़े होकर के क्रिकेट खेलता था। ये बीच वाला जो बंदा है ना शाहरुख खान, इसने सही किया यार, इसने MBA किया। और मैंने रियलाइज किया शाहरुख खान को, ठीक है, शाहरुख खान को उसका बाप घर से लात मार के बाहर निकाल देता है, लेकिन क्योंकि उसने MBA किया है तो वो लंदन जाता है और इतना पैसा कमाता है कि उसके पास एक कोठी है भाई लंदन में, फ्लैट नहीं है उसके पास, सच कोठी है जहां पे 500 लोग तो बस करवा चौथ पे नाचने आए हैं, बोले चूड़ियां। मैंने कहा यार ये बढ़िया है यार MBA, मैंने कहा ये करते हैं यार। मैं इसीलिए MBA में आया यार। और मुझे ना, जैसे मैंने MBA से पहले जब मैं इंजीनियरिंग की नौकरी कर रहा था, तब मैंने रियलाइज कर लिया कि मेरे को MBA में कहाँ जाना है। सबसे पहले तो क्या है कि आप इंजीनियरिंग में से आप जॉब में जाते हो ना, आपको पता लग जाता है कि यार ये HR जो है ना, ये ठीक है, इनसे दूर रहना है अपने को। बिल्कुल मैं बता रहा हूँ, नॉट अ जोक, आई टेल यू ऑनेस्टली। मैं एक बार जा रहा था ऊबर पूल में, ठीक है, लॉन्ग बैक ऊबर पूल होती थी जिसमें लड़के ऐसे जाते हैं कि यार एक लड़की मिल जाए बस साथ में, इस चीज़ के लिए, और कुछ रीज़न नहीं था। अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं एक सिंगल ऊबर, लेकिन वो ऊबर पूल में जाते थे। मैं गया और ना क्या है, वहाँ पे HR की एक बंदी आ गई मेरे साथ में, और मेरी कंपनी की HR की बंदी ऊबर पूल में साथ में। तो ड्राइवर जो है उसने उस लड़की को देखा, उसने मुझे देखा, उसने वापस उस लड़की को देखा, और फिर मुझसे बोलता है भाई साहब आप आगे आ जाओ, पीछे सवारी बैठी है। यार HR की यार लोग ना ऐसे, HR का है यहाँ पे कोई नहीं, मतलब कोई स्पाउस वगैरह ऐसा तो कोई नहीं है ना कोई? हाँ आप नहीं, हाँ तो बढ़िया है। मैं SPandan मैंने यार इसीलिए चूज किया कि मैंने कहा यहाँ पे HR नहीं होता यार, अपने को बेइज्जती से दूर रहना भाई। ये लड़की भाई, ठीक है, वो ऊबर से उतरी, वो कह रहा ऊबर वाला कि मैडम 5 स्टार दे दीजिएगा। कह रही ठीक है, 3 फिक्स, एक ज्वाइनिंग, एक वेरिएबल दूंगी, चलेगा? अपने को पता था यार HR से यार दूर ही रहना यार। मैंने ऐसी SPandan में एक चीज़ और भी अच्छी होती है भाई, क्या है ना कि अपने को अपना लेवल पता है। ये कैट और GMAT वगैरह तो सब निकाल लेते हो, इंटरव्यू में फंसते हो सब, इंटरव्यू सब, बिकॉज इंटरव्यू में तुम्हारी सच्चाई निकल आती है। SPandan में भाई ग्रुप इंटरव्यूज हो रहे हैं। मैं छुप छपा के निकल जाऊंगा भाई, ठीक है? 5 बंदे बैठे हैं ऐसे, ठीक है, उसमें 5 बंदों में से एक लड़की, जाहिर सी बात है डाइवर्सिटी तो ऐसी चल रही है हमारी। ठीक है, और हम 5 बंदे सेम कंपनी गई, ठीक है, सेम कंपनी बैठे, तो सबसे पूछे, डॉक्टर शेषा ही थे इनफैक्ट, डॉक्टर शेषा ने पूछ रहे कि अच्छा क्या है क्या है क्या है, लड़की से पूछा अच्छा तुम्हारी वीकनेस क्या है, लड़की कहती मैं ना नहीं बोल पाती। हम 4 लड़कों ने उसको ऐसे देखा है, कि ये सचिन की सेंचुरी से ज्यादा जो तुम ना कर चुकी हो लड़कों को, उसका क्या भाई। बट SPGN हैज बीन अ ग्रेट एक्सपीरियंस यार, मैं तो हमेशा से यार नो आई यूज्ड टू लव मुंबई बिकॉज ऑफ दिस बॉलीवुड थिंग। और मैं जब SPGN में आया मुझे ये चीज़ काफ़ी अच्छी लगी मेरे को, बिकॉज ना SPGN क्या है, मुंबई बेस्ड है, तो यहाँ पे बॉलीवुड इन्फ्लुएंस बहुत ज़्यादा है, यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा है यहाँ पे। एंड SPGN इनफैक्ट अभी आपको ऐसे पूरा थिएटर स्टाइल लग रहा है, इट्स अ मल्टीप्लेक्स है ये, अलग अलग कोर्सेज चल रहे हैं यहाँ पे अलग अलग स्क्रीन्स में, आपको बस दरवाज़ा सही खोलना है, और आधे लोग यहीं पे गलती कर जाते हैं, मैं बता रहा हूँ, ठीक है, अलग अलग स्क्रीन पे अलग अलग पिक्चरें चल रही हैं, आप PGDM का दरवाज़ा खोलो, वहाँ 2 स्टेट्स चल रही है, आप PGEMP का दरवाज़ा खोलो, वहाँ क्या कूल है हम चल रही है, आप FMB का दरवाज़ा खोलो, वहाँ बेफिक्रे चल रही है, आप PGPM का दरवाज़ा खोलो, वहाँ मातृभूमि चल रही है। PGPM पीपल इन द हाउस कौन है यहाँ पे, गिव मी अ चीयर, है हाँ, ऐसे होता है यार, सब लड़के ही हैं भाई, मतलब जो इंजीनियर्स आते हैं PGPM लाइक MBA करने की यार, क्योंकि ना इंजीनियर्स के पास क्या है, लड़कियां नहीं होती, उनके पास आस होती है। वो आए यहाँ पे, आई एम नॉट किडिंग, मेरे बैच में 12 लड़कियां थी और 112 लड़के, वी बीट द द्रौपदी रेशियो बाय वेरी गुड मार्जिन, और वो 12 लड़कियों में से भी 6 मैरिड, उनका पब्लिक सब्सक्रिप्शन अवेलेबल नहीं है, बाकी जो 6 थी उनमें से भी 3 ऐसी थी जिनका प्राइवेट इक्विटी इन्वेस्टर बाहर बैठा हुआ है और अपना स्टेक डाइल्यूट नहीं कर रहा, और जो 3 बचती थी ये देवियां, ये जब अपना IPO निकालती थी तो ये इतना ओवर सब्सक्राइब हो जाता था। क्या हो गया, अच्छा ये मेरे बैच का बंदा बैठा है, ये कह रहा है हाँ तू सही कह रहा है। नहीं बढ़िया है, आ गए, अच्छा अपने बैच से कोई और आया है? नहीं, शर्मनाक है भाई हमारा बैच। कोई आना ही नहीं चाह रहा है यहाँ पे, नहीं चलो बढ़िया है, बट ये चीज़ अच्छा है। और फिर क्या है ना कि इस सब के बाद यू गिव अ हेवी अमाउंट ऑफ, सी MBA इन इंडिया इज अ वेरी सीरियस बिजनेस, लाइक नॉट फ्रॉम योर साइड बट लाइक हमारी साइड से, ठीक है, बहुत पैसा लगाना पड़ता है यार, MBA अगर तुमको करना है इंडिया में बहुत पैसा लगाना पड़ता है, अनलेस यू आर डूइंग इट फ्रॉम FMS, बिकॉज देन यू आर जस्ट अ हॉबीइस्ट। क्या 80,000 रुपये पड़े घर में, क्या करें, FD करा दें? नहीं अंकुर वारी को मना करता है, ऐसा करते हैं MBA करा देते हैं बच्चे को। बट हमारा नहीं है यार ऐसा, हमारे काफ़ी पैसे लग जाते हैं यार, ठीक है, और उसकी वजह से क्या है ना कि मुझे लगता है कि यार MBA में ऐसी कोई बहुत खास चीज़ भी नहीं बता रहे हैं, मतलब पैकेजिंग अच्छी है बट बाकी सब चीज़ें हाँ ठीक है चल रही हैं यार। ROI का कॉन्सेप्ट बता रहे हैं यार हमको, बताओ कितना बुरा लगेगा ROI का कॉन्सेप्ट। मैं 15 लाख दिया था अपने MBA में, मैं 15 लाख दिया था अपने MBA में, ठीक है, और आई हैड एन एग्जाम्पलरी प्लेसमेंट। मेरा ROI मैं क्या बताऊँ, मैं 15 लाख दिया, मेरा 5 लाख का पैकेज लगा था, मेरे लिए ROI था रिग्रेट ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट। मैं गया उस समय के डीन के पास यार, मैंने कहा डीन सर क्या कर रहे हो ये, आपने तो कहा था बहुत हाई ROI है, कह रहे हाँ हमारे लिए। यार MBA के कॉन्सेप्ट ही ऐसे होते हैं यार, ABC एनालिसिस पढ़ा रहे हैं यार, ABC एनालिसिस पता है आप लोगों को, याद है आप लोगों को, भूल गए आप लोग हैं, ऐसे पिरामिड होता है यार, किसको नहीं पता ABC एनालिसिस यार, हैं ABC एनालिसिस बहुत सिंपल है यार, ABC ऐसे पिरामिड बनता है, आपको पता नहीं क्या घर में गांजा दारू और सुट्टा कितना रखना होता है घर में, यहाँ पे कैंपस में नहीं, क्योंकि जो रखते हैं वो बताते नहीं है वो। हाँ, माइकल पोर्टर्स फोर्सेस, पोर्टर्स की फोर्सेस याद है किसी को, हैं आपको याद है सर? नहीं ना, हाँ आप अप्लाई नहीं कर रहे ना हम, हमें सिखा क्यों रहे हैं? माइकल पोर्टर्स 5 फोर्सेस, और पता है लड़कों को पता ही होती है सब 5 फोर्सेस, 5 forces. I'll tell you. I'll just give you a quick recap. 5 forces होती है. ऋतिक रोशन भी कहता है एक कम रह गई यार. 5 forces. I'll tell you what those 5 forces are. लड़कों को पहले से पता होता है, कुछ सीखने की जरूरत नहीं है. ठीक है? सबसे पहला, negotiating power of the supplier. लड़की कितनी खूबसूरत है. Negotiating power of the buyer. मेरे पास कितना पैसा उस पर खर्च करने के लिए. Threat of competition. कितने लड़के ताड़ रहे हैं उसको. Threat of new entrant. इनमें से कोई ऐसा तो नहीं है जिसको गिटार बजाना आता है. And threat of substitute. ये गिटार वाला लड़का अगर ले गया मेरी लड़की को, तो ये रिया के जाने के बाद मैं अपना माइक पकड़ा रह जाऊंगा या फिर प्रिया और सुप्रिया हैं मेरे लिए. तो ये सब के लिए यार मैं पैसे क्यों दे रहा हूं भाई. मतलब मेरे पैसे से रिक्रिएशन सेंटर बन रहा है. आइस हॉकी खेलते हैं कल लड़के, वहां पे गया, वहां पे मैं साले मेरा है पैसा. ठीक है मैं खेलूंगा. नहीं बस है यार. बट एसपी जैन के ये है ना कि डीएनए में ही एमबीए पूरा भरा हुआ है. आप देखो मतलब एसपी जैन पूरे कैंपस का ऐसा वो बड़ा भाई है जो बाकी सारे एसपीआईटी को और बाकी सारे कॉलेजेस को भी वो अपने बोझों पे लेके चल रहा है भाई. वो ऐसा ही है. नेशनल माइल्स वाला है यहाँ पे, नहीं आया आज. ही वॉज हेयर येस्टरडे ना, द गाय हु गॉट सम अवार्ड फॉर दैट बैग ट्रॉली बैगेज वाला. नेशनल माइल्स राइट. हाँ वो आए नहीं आज. वो भाई सही लोग अपने बिजनेस पे काम कर रहे हैं. ठीक है तुम लोग बैठे हो यहाँ पे. बंदा शार्क टैंक में आया था, वो एल्यूमिनाई फंक्शन अटेंड नहीं कर रहा है वो, इसीलिए शार्क टैंक पे आया था. मेरा तो बैन है भाई. देखो मेरा आखिरी परफॉर्मेंस ही है, मुझे पक्का पता है. जो बोलना है बोल लूंगा. नहीं यार एमबीए ना हमारे ऐसे डीएनए में. आई टेल यू हाउ. देखो बीसीजी मैट्रिक्स पता है आप लोगों को. बीसीजी मैट्रिक्स से ही हमारी ब्रांचेस डिसाइड हुई हैं भाई. मैं आपको एक रिकैप देता हूँ बीसीजी मैट्रिक्स का. उसमें से 4 क्वाड्रेंट्स होते हैं उसमें. ठीक है. सबसे पहला होता है क्वेश्चन मार्क. क्वेश्चन मार्क जो कि हमारी एक ब्रांच को डिसाइड करता है, जो है आईएम. क्योंकि इनकी जो करियर चॉइसेस होती है ना भाई, ये यही है, वो क्वेश्चन मार्क ही है उनकी. टीसीएस, इन्फोसिस, विप्रो से आए होते हैं लोग. मेहनत करने की आदत तो होती नहीं है इनकी. ठीक है. इनका प्लेसमेंट ऐसा क्वेश्चन मार्क ही रहता है इनका. इनका मस्त है भाई. इनको एक रात जगते हैं सिमुलेशन के लिए और इसमें करते रहते हैं. इनको आदत ही नहीं यार इतना काम वाम करने की. ये वापस इंडस्ट्री में जाते हैं, देखते हैं कि एक एआई वाला बंदा इनसे ज़्यादा पैसा कमा रहा है. क्वेश्चन मार्क ही रहता है इनके पास यार. बट फाइनेंस इज द ट्रू हीरो यार. वो बढ़िया होते हैं यार. द कैश काउज है. कैश काउज नहीं है, वो पैसा उड़ा रहे हैं अपना कहीं पे. हाँ नहीं वो बढ़िया यार. वो कैश काउज है यार. वो बड़ा पेट और सेठ ना, वो बिल्कुल वैसे ही उनका निकलता भी है. तो फाइनेंस वाले आते हैं यार यहाँ पे. उनको लगता है कि यार मैं यहाँ से निकलूँगा, मैं एक इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकर बनूंगा मैं. और होता क्या है, वो यहाँ पे आते हैं और फिर एक क्लर्क बन के निकलते हैं. उनका सबसे बड़ा लीप ही होता है यार कि उनको यहाँ आके पिवट टेबल उनको लगानी आ जाती है उनको. दिस इज द बिगेस्ट लीप. बट एक चीज़ मुझे बहुत पसंद है, एक जो ब्रांच मुझे बहुत पसंद है, वो है मार्केटिंग की ब्रांच यार. मार्केटिंग वाले हैं यहाँ पे. हाँ अच्छा कपिल आप मार्केटिंग के हो. आप ही हो राजकुंद्रा के मार्केटिंग हेड. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो ना आप. अच्छा मेल्स भेज रहे हो. मेल्स ही भेज रहे हो, फीमेल्स तो नहीं भेज रहे ना. हाँ ठीक है. नहीं बट मार्केटिंग वाले स्टार होते हैं यार. वो बीसीजी मैट्रिक्स से स्टार होते हैं यार वो. एंड दे आर द रियल मूवर्स एंड शेकर्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. आई टेल यू द रियल मूवर्स एंड शेकर्स. क्योंकि मार्केटिंग वाले की वजह से क्या है ना कि पूरी दुनिया की इकोनॉमी चल रही है. अभी रशिया यूक्रेन की वॉर हुई तो सबको लगा कि यार अब तो यार ऑयल के प्राइस बहुत बढ़ जाएंगे यार. फिर क्या किया, एसपी जैन ने मार्केटिंग वालों का इनटेक बढ़ा दिया. अब लोगों को पता लग गया यार कि यार दुनिया में अब गैस इतनी आने वाली है कि ऑयल चाहिए किसको. मार्केटिंग वाले मस्त है भाई. और फिर फाइनली जो बचता है हमारा ऑपरेशंस का, धोबी का कुत्ता, ना कंसल्टिंग का ना कैप्टिव का. वो मस्त है यार. बट आई जस्ट रिकैप ऑल द 4 ब्रांचेस फॉर यू गाइस. कौन कौन सी ब्रांचेस हमारे पास? आईएम है, फिनेंस है, मार्केटिंग है और प्रधानमंत्री मजदूर विकास योजना है. ये सही है यार. ये मैकेनिकल, इलेक्ट्रिकल, सिविल, माइनिंग, इनके बारे में समाज कल्याण विभाग जो सोच रहा है, वो यही तो हैं वो लोग। ऑप्स वाले ऐसे ही होते हैं यार, ऑप्स वाले अभ्युदय बन जाते हैं, बच्चे डर जाते हैं। ऑप्स वाले वो बाहर खड़े होते हैं, उनकी विजिटिंग में कोई ऑटो होता है ना, कोई ना आगे पूछ ही लेता है, भैया बांद्रा जाओगे क्या? ऐसे काम करके आए होते हैं यार, बताओ वो हैं। बजाज में काम कर रहे होते हैं कई बार, तो नहीं, बजाज में मार्केटिंग वाले का। नहीं बढ़िया यार, ऑप्स वालों को ये सब मैंने देखा कि काफ़ी अच्छा था। वो नेटवर्क ऑप्टिमाइजेशन में पूरा फुल ऑन रहते हैं। वो क्या करते हैं, वो नेल कटर नहीं खरीदते, पैर के नाखून हाथों से काट लिया, हाथों के नाखून दांतों से काट लिया, दांतों में बबूल कर लिया, पूरा का पूरा नेटवर्क ऑप्टिमाइज कर लिया, और फिर उसको कॉस्ट सेविंग्स में दिखा दिया। यही दिखा रही हैं। इतनी हंसी तो मुझे भी नहीं आती इस जोक पे। आप ऑप्स के हो हैं, पार्ट ऑफ द ऑपरेशन। हाँ भाई, नहीं क्वेश्चन गलत था, नहीं अच्छा। एंड विच बैच आर यू फ्रॉम? पीजीएमबी 67। यार ये इनका मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है, इनके ऐसे नंबर होते हैं पता ही लगता है कौन से साल से ग्रेजुएट हुए। 67 कब हुआ था, मैं कैलकुलेट ही करता रह जाऊँ। 2020, ओह दैट्स गुड यार, कोविड यार, कोविड टाइम्स। अच्छा प्री कोविड, बट कोविड आई थिंक कोविड वॉज, आपकी जॉब तो कोविड में लग गई थी ना? अच्छा पीजीएमपी में, अच्छा हाँ बस बता, कह रहे पैसा दो, ब्रांड नेम लो और जाओ यहाँ से। ये प्लेसमेंट का चक्कर नहीं उन्होंने पालना भाई। ये हमारे एक सगा बच्चा पीजीडीएम, ये हमारा सौतेला बच्चा पीजीपीएम, इन्हीं को पाल लें, इन्हीं का प्लेसमेंट करवा दें, ये बहुत है अपने लिए। सही में दिल के दर्द निकल आते हैं ना। नहीं बढ़िया यार, बढ़िया है, ये सब अच्छा रहता है। देखो कोविड में ना एक चीज़ अच्छी हुई, एक सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन बहुत आया लोगों में। क्योंकि क्या है कि मैंने ना, देखो मैं जूम आ गया, ये MS टीम्स आ गया, ये सब ना, और मैंने पहली बार जब ये जूम यूज़ किया, मैंने सबसे पहली बार अपने आप को बोलते हुए देखा। मैंने कहा ये तो अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, क्या ऐसा बोलता हूं मैं? सबसे पहले तो मैंने अपनी सारी एक्सेस को फोन करके बोला है, सॉरी यार मेरी गलती थी यार, मैं ही ऐसा बोलता हूं यार। लेकिन ये कितनी गलत चीज़ है यार उन लोगों की, वो बताओ मुझे ही दिखा रहे हैं, आईना दिखा रहे हैं मुझे, ये चीज़ सही नहीं होती यार। और क्या कि मैंने क्या कोविड किया तो आई मूव्ड बैक टू माई होम। माई होम इज़ इन आगरा। आई मूव्ड बैक टू माई होम, और वहाँ पे क्या है कि इट वॉज अ गुड कम्युनिकेशन गैप that I saw between my parents and myself because I moved back after a long time. ठीक है, तो I belong to a completely teaching family वैसे। मम्मी पापा दादी दादा भाई बहन सब के सब, हमारे फैमिली व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप का नाम है स्टाफ रूम। इसीलिए मैं टीचर्स पे जोक ही नहीं करता सर, इसीलिए मैं। हाँ। मेरे को शीतल कह रही थी एक्स्ट्रा पैसे दूंगी, मैंने कहा नहीं भाई। हाँ। तो उसने कहा कि बस डॉक्टर वरुण के पैसे मिले, मैंने कहा हाँ ठीक है। गए मेरे वो पैसे भी गए मुझे लगा। नहीं तो मैं ऐसे टीचर्स पे जोक नहीं करता यार, क्योंकि ना मैं तो देखो उसी की खाई है मैंने तो, और जितना भी खाया मैंने उसी का खाया मैंने। एंड आई रियलाइज दिस वाइड कम्युनिकेशन गैप जो हो गया ना। सो माई मॉम शी इज़ अ मैथ्स टीचर, और मैथ्स टीचिंग में क्या होता है ना यार कि आप मतलब अजम्पशंस ले लेते हो, जैसे लेट एक्स बी 100 और ऐसे करके पूरा वो सॉल्व कर देती थी। वो कम्युनिकेशन गैप और बड़ा हो गया। सो आई वेंट बैक, नाउ माई पेरेंट्स आर लाइक प्रीटी ओल्ड स्कूल, उनको पता नहीं है वो साबुन से नहा रहे हैं। मैं लूफा लेके गया, उनको पता नहीं था लूफा क्या होता है। लूफा यू गाइस नो राइट है, एक मकड़े का जाल होता है जिससे इंसान नहाता है ऐसा करके, राइट? लूफा यू गाइस नो। उनको नहीं पता था। अ वेरी लॉजिकल थिंग वुड हैव बीन जस्ट टू आस्क मी, बट पूछना तो होता नहीं है, उन्होंने अज्यूम कर लिया और उस लूफा से मेरी टॉयलेट की सीट साफ कर दी। विच आई टेल यू इज नॉट द वर्स्ट पार्ट। द वर्स्ट पार्ट इज कि ये बात उन्होंने मुझे 4 दिन बाद बताई, जब मेरी ऑफिस कॉल चल रही थी। अब मेरे ऑफिस वालों को पता है कि इसको इंक्रीमेंट नहीं, इसको हाइजीन चाहिए। बट ये है कि मैं तो खुद टीचिंग में जाना चाह रहा हूँ। सो आई गॉट अ प्लेसमेंट इन अ कंसल्टिंग फर्म, एंड आई ऑलवेज वांटेड अ प्लेसमेंट इन टू कंसल्टिंग फर्म फॉर अ वेरी सिंपल रीजन। बहुत, क्योंकि कंसल्टिंग फर्म्स बहुत ट्रांसपेरेंट होती हैं, unlike other companies which come to campus और फिर वो कुछ ऐसा ही अपना वो प्री प्लेसमेंट टॉक देती हैं कि यू विल बी सेलिंग अ न्यू इनोवेटिव प्रोडक्ट इन अ न्यू इनोवेटिव मार्केट विद न्यू इनोवेटिव स्ट्रैटेजीज। वो बंदा नाला सुपारा में पेंट बेच रहा है। कंसल्टिंग फर्म्स ऐसी नहीं है। कंसल्टिंग फर्म्स आर वेरी ट्रांसपेरेंट इन देयर जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन यार। द फर्स्ट 4 अल्फाबेट्स ऑफ द वर्ड कंसल्टिंग टेल यू व्हाट योर जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन इज। करना ही आपको ये, या तो कॉन्स या सीनियर कॉन्स। यही कि चल रहा है यार वहां पे। मस्त यार कंसल्टिंग फर्म्स, इसीलिए नहीं कंसल्टिंग फर्म से ऐसा होता है यार। आई एम नॉट किडिंग। मुझे इसीलिए आना था। और जब मैंने ये लॉजिक बताया एचआर को, तो उन्होंने कहा हाँ, हमारे पास एक ओपनिंग है एनालिटिक्स में। जस्ट सीइंग द टाइम, हाँ कि कितना टाइम लगता है लोगों को। राजकुंद्रा जी ठीक है, नहीं ना ऐसे जोक्स नहीं मारने चाहिए ना मुझे। खैर ठीक है, हाँ कह रहे हैं अपने को चले, अपने को चलेगा। हाँ नहीं यार, मैं तो इसीलिए ना मैं कंसल्टिंग में आया, एक मेरे को अच्छी चीज़ नहीं लगी वहाँ पे ना, ट्रेनिंग्स बहुत कराते हैं वहाँ पे। ट्रेनिंग्स बहुत कराते हैं और वहाँ पे ना इन सब एक एक्सेल की ट्रेनिंग करा रहे हैं मेरी। एक्सेल मतलब एक्सेल की ट्रेनिंग, एक तो हर एक्सेल की ट्रेनिंग नाम होता है एक्सेल एंड एक्सेल। पूछ तो लो, मेरे को मीडियोक्रिटी ने एक्सेल करना है भाई। मेरे को जानना नहीं है इंडेक्स मैच क्या होता है, नहीं करना मेरे को। एक खाली स्क्रीन में इतना सारे डब्बे यार, इससे ज़्यादा डब्बे मेरे घर पे टब पे क्या रखे हुए हैं। मुझे नहीं करनी यार एक्सेल एंड एक्सेल। कितनी बेकार सी ट्रेनिंग होती है। मेरी पॉश की ट्रेनिंग्स कराई यार। पॉश की ट्रेनिंग, पॉश सबने करी होगी ना यहाँ पे। मेरे को पता नहीं था कि पॉश होता क्या है। मेरे को लगा पॉश मतलब होता है अमीरी, कि निगम साहब अब पैसे कमाने लग गए हो तो पैसे कमाने के बाद क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, उस चीज की ट्रेनिंग थी है। मैंने कहा सच एक शाइनी आहूजा की फोटो दिखा देते ना। ट्रेनिंग करा रहे हैं यार एक्सेल एक्सेल। यार हुकअप की उम्र में व्हील हुकअप किसको सीखना है भाई। मुझे करा रहे हैं ये सब। इसीलिए मैं तो खुद पिवट करना चाह रहा हूँ यार। आई वांट टू गो इनटू लाइक, मैं तो वही टीचिंग लाइन में ही मुझे लग रहा है वही बेस्ट है मेरे लिए। मैं खुद एक टीचर ही बन जाऊंगा मैं, अपने बाप दादाओं की तरह। और मुझे तो ये मतलब इसलिए और अच्छा लगता है क्योंकि सब लोग हैं टीचर, तो वो बता देंगे भाई देख लिया मैं तुझे। ये ना मुझे ऐसे इशारे कर रहा है कि भाई हो गया, लोग भूखे बैठे हैं। वो कह रहा है कि लोग लंच के लिए नहीं आते। भाई तू लोगों को जानता ही नहीं है। ये सब खाने के लिए आए हैं। नहीं बट नहीं, I'll just wrap up with this last bit of mine कि I'll tell you something about my parents. I told you about my mom. My father, he's a very pious person. वो बहुत पूजा करते हैं, बहुत पूजा पाठ करते हैं और टीचर तो हैं ही वो। तो वो सुबह उठते हैं, बहुत पूजा, बहुत एकदम रिलीजियस बंदे हैं वो। ठीक है, सुबह उठते हैं, सबसे पहले भगवान का नाम लेते हैं, उसके बाद फिर जनेऊ पहनते हैं, फिर घर में हमने एक छोटा सा मंदिर बना रखा है, उसमें जाके आरती जलाते हैं और फिर उस आरती से दिन का सबसे पहला सिगरेट। उनको लगता है इससे सिगरेट पवित्र हो जाता है और माचिस के पैसे भी बच जाते हैं। भाई वो एक सिगरेट का कश लेकर के जब शंख बजाते हैं ना, पूरे घर को ब्लोबैक मिलता है। मेरे घर की दीवारें भी पैसे स्मोकर्स हैं यार। एक दिन मेरी दादी उठी सुबह, कह रही अरे आज कपूर की खुशबू आ रही है। मैंने कहा दादी आज आपके साहबजादे मेंथॉल पी रहे हैं, संभाल लो इनको। बट माई डैड इज, वो बहुत ऐसा पूजा करते हैं, बहुत पूजा करते हैं यार वो। लेकिन वो एक्चुअली पैसा वो बचाते भी खूब है। तो माई डैड ही हैड अ एटलस साइकिल। एटलस साइकिल पता है आपको? ठीक है, आप लोगों को पता होगा, एक ऐसी इतनी बड़ी साइकिल होती है, ऐसा करते हैं। तो अपना स्टेटस अपडेट करने के लिए एटलस की साइकिल चलाते थे और उसके पीछे बजाज चेतक का स्टिकर लगा लिया उन्होंने। कह रहे इससे ना इनकम टैक्स वालों को पता नहीं लगेगा हमारे पास कितना पैसा है। मैंने कहा मुझे ही बता दो हमारे पास कितना पैसा है, उनको तो बाद में पता लगेगा। और मैंने कहा अगर तुमको इतना करना ही है यार, ठीक है, तो कम से कम कुछ बड़ा सोचो। आई वॉज अ बाइकर पर्सन यार, आई वॉज ऑलवेज लाइक बाइक्स में मुझे इंटरेस्ट था। तो मैंने इतने चेतक का हटाया, मैंने कहा स्टिकर लगाना है, तो मैंने हार्ले का स्टिकर लगा दिया। कम से स्टेटस तो अपना अपडेट हो जाएगा ना यार। 4 दिन तक पूरे शहर में वो एटलस की साइकिल हार्ले के एटीट्यूड से घूमी है, बिल्कुल। चौथे दिन उसका एटीट्यूड खत्म हो गया क्योंकि पापा ने उसके ऊपर एक और स्टिकर लगा दिया। अब द एंटायर थिंग रेड, प्रभु सारे दुख हर ले। डैड इज अ वेरी रिलीजियस पर्सन यार। वो बहुत पूजा करते हैं। वो ऐसे होता नहीं, वो सोफे पे बैठ के कहते हैं ओ मंदिर वहीं बनाएंगे, मंदिर वहीं बनाएंगे। वो थे वो। मम्मी आती है पीछे से, निगम साहब आप चाय बना लीजिए, मंदिर बन चुका है। पापा बहुत पूजा करते हैं। आपने देखा वैसे हनुमान जी ऐसे करते हैं, राम जी निकलते हैं। किसी ने राम जी ने ऐसे किया, मेरे पापा निकलेंगे। किसी ने पापा ने ऐसे किया, अंदर से वो टार निकलेगा, क्योंकि सिगरेट तो चल रही है रोज की। और मेरे पापा ना मेरे ही स्कूल में पढ़ाते थे, मेरे ही स्कूल में। मैं घर पे होता था तो स्कूल जाने का मन नहीं करता था, स्कूल पे होता था घर आने का मन नहीं करता था। मैं कहा यही तो शक्ल दिखनी है मुझे। मुझे छोड़ने आते थे और मुझे पे फाइनल जाता लेट आने का। एटलस की साइकिल पे बैठ के जा रहा हूं मैं। एंड माई डैड यूज्ड टू टीच अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सब्जेक्ट इन स्कूल, इट वॉज मॉरल साइंस। ठीक है, कॉन्वेंट स्कूल, पीपल हु हैव स्टडीड इन कॉन्वेंट स्कूल गिव मी अ चीयर। कॉन्वेंट स्कूल्स हैं, हाँ ऐसे ही होते हैं। कॉन्वेंट स्कूल में क्या है कि मॉरल साइंस इज नथिंग बट बाइबल, उसमें जीसस के बारे में बता रहे हैं। मेरे पापा जाते थे, ऐसे एक 40 बच्चों के सामने बैठे हुए हैं, ठीक है, वो कह रहे हैं जीसस लव्स यू ऑल, इन हिम वी ट्रस्ट, हालेलुया। मैंने कहा पापा आप कट्टर हिंदू हो यार, ये क्या 15,000 रुपए के लिए अपना ईमान बेच देते हो। कह रहे नहीं नहीं, जब मैं बोलता हूं ना तो मैं कान पे जनेऊ लगा लेता हूं। Okay, that was my time, guys. You guys have been a lovely audience. Please give a huge round of applause for yourselves, for Dr. Varun. He's doing a great job actually. On a very serious note, round of applause for Nimai, for Sheetal, and for the entire alumni committee. Round of applause. Thank you. Let me call back the host, Nimai, please. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for being such an amazing audience. A big shout out to Ankur for just brightening us with his laughs and also reminding us of the lighter side here at campus. Here's to such more moments that happen here. Thank you and have a great evening, and I'll hand it over back to Saloni and Isha.
As we near the end of this segment, we'd like to thank each one of you for being here and making this event truly special.
No, the word of thanks is not coming. Don't worry. But don't go just yet. It's time for the moment we all have been waiting for. Batch photos. Yes, it's time to get your squad together, strike a pose, and freeze this moment in time. So let's head to the designated photo spots for your batch photo shoot. Also, don't forget to collect your photos from the stilt area before you leave.
Enjoy the rest of the day, relive your moments, and let's make this a day worth remembering. Thank you once again and see you outside. Thank you.